Chapter 241. Found it at last, Annihilation of the Abyssal Demons. The Abyssal Demons hovering in the air were dumbfounded. Lin Moyu actually sat down, looking like he was in deep thought. But, every once in a while, he would cast a skill to reinforce his defense. Lin Moyu completely ignored the attacks from the Crimson Moon Demon. He even took out some food and began eating slowly. An Abyssal Demon was bewildered. What is he doing? Another demon exclaimed in surprise, how come he doesn't seem scared at all? And how come not a single skeleton has died after all this time? The attributes of these skeletons look so low, I feel like I could smash a bunch of them with a slap. Succubus Alice sneered, if you are tired of living, be my guest. At this time, she was frowning. The situation unfolded differently from her expectations. I should have asked Lady Demon Queen to send a more powerful Crimson Moon Demon. She felt that the level 55 Crimson Moon Demon was too weak, that they should have sent a level 60 or even a level 65 Crimson Moon Demon. What she didn't know was that sending a level 55 Crimson Moon Demon to the immemorial battlefield was already the limit of the Succubus Queen's power. She couldn't send a higher level demon. After a moment's thought, Alice smiled coldly and said, all right, let's play for time. I want to see how long you can last. The Crimson Moon Demon was specifically chosen to counter Lin Moyu. From the earlier performance, it was evident that Lin Moyu had no effective ways of dealing with it. Since the Crimson Moon Demon had integrated with the barrier, Lin Moyu was like a trapped beast. The attacks of the Crimson Moon Demon wouldn't stop until he was dead. In the end, the one who would die would inevitably be Lin Moyu. Thinking of this, Alice's mood improved significantly. As she expected, Lin Moyu found himself in a predicament. He had tried all sorts of methods, including casting bone fangs on the ground and using soul blaze on the spikes, but all to no avail. The Crimson Moon Demon's attacks continued unabated. Even when the spikes were broken and the mucus burst out, it was quickly reabsorbed. It had no effect on the Crimson Moon Demon. The skeletal warriors ceased their counterattacks, as that was not only futile, but would also cause them to be corroded by the mucus. Lin Moyu analyzed various possibilities. The Crimson Moon Demon wasn't immune to elemental attacks. In fact, the damage it received from the light element was even amplified. At the same time, it was not immune to physical attacks, indicating that it had a physical form. He just hadn't identified it yet. Lin Moyu wondered if the Crimson Moon Demon's form was hidden within the spikes. However, there were far too many spikes, impossible to count. After casting the curse, the area was filled with chain patterns, all looking identical and indistinguishable from one another. Lin Moyu considered different possibilities, but still couldn't find a solution. He took another bite of the Earth Evil Centipede's leg meat. It was delicious. His consumed spirit force was quickly replenished. Compared to the Crimson Moon Demon, Lin Moyu preferred the Earth Evil Centipede. Not only did it provide such excellent leg meat, but it also dropped Poison Crystal and Poison Gem. The latter increased his poison immunity by 50% and granted him a poison-type skill. Although over the past few days, the Poison Star Ring skill had only been upgraded to level 3, but its effect was still quite noticeable. Poison Star Ring level 3 can form an area 3 meters in radius that deals poison damage, dealing damage equivalent to 30 points per second, duration, 3 seconds. Lin Moyu suddenly raised his head, his eyes shining. How could he have forgotten about this skill? Seeing Lin Moyu's behavior, Mo Yun asked urgently, have you thought of a solution? Lin Moyu nodded, I'll give it a try. Maybe it will work. He pointed to an area with his finger. Skill, Poison Star Ring. A green light appeared where Lin Moyu pointed, then exploded and turned into a green ring that spread outward. After the talent's amplification, the Poison Star Ring's range reached 120 meters, with damage of 120 per second and duration of 120 seconds. In the ring's wake, the air was filled with a green hue, forming a faint poisonous gas. The area Lin Moyu chose hid a large number of spikes, but the Poison Star Ring no effect on them. Their outer shell protected them. Lin Moyu moved around within the barrier, casting Poison Star Ring over and over again. Clouds of poisonous mist rose within the barrier. What is he doing? The abyssal demons in the sky watched Lin Moyu with puzzled expressions. They didn't know what he was up to. By this time, they had already stopped attacking. Their harassment had no effect on him and was a waste of effort. It was better to observe quietly. With Earth Evil Centipede's leg meat in his left hand, Lin Moyu tirelessly cast Poison Star Ring again and again, nearly covering half of the barrier with the poisonous gas. Suddenly, an unusual green hue entered Lin Moyu's sight. Green gas gathered into a clump and emerged from the ground. Someone was poisoned, or rather, a monster was poisoned. Over the past several days of experimenting with poison star ring skill, Lin Moyu had become very familiar with its signs of poisoning. After a monster was poisoned, poisonous gas would emerge continuously, even forming a poisonous gas pillar several meters high. The same was true now. Found it. The place from where the poisonous gas emerged also had a chain pattern. Lin Moyu sneered, a red light flashing in his hand. Skill. Damage curse. The slow curse was replaced with the damage curse. Simultaneously, Lin Moyu locked onto the poison target emitting green gas. A green light flashed in his palm. Skill. Soul Blaze. There was no sound, but the whole ground shook violently. Previously, no matter how he attacked the spikes, there was no reaction. But this time, Lin Moyu realized he had found the true body of the Crimson Moon Demon, and a slight smile played on his lips. You can't escape now. The Crimson Moon Demon's true body began to flee, but the continuous emission of poisonous gas betrayed its location. Lin Moyu was in no rush, unhurriedly applying a poison star ring on it. 120 seconds was more than enough time. Now that he had found it, the rest was easy. The battle was nearing its end. Lin Moyu raised his head and looked at the abyssal demons in the air. The abyssal demons felt a chill run down their spine. Bring them down, Lin Moyu said to Mo Yun, simultaneously enveloping her in a layer of bone armor. Mo Yun let out a shout, and her summoned beast, with her on its back, soared into the sky at once. A holy white light cut through the air and made a beeline for the abyssal demons like lightning. Mo Yun seemed to have unleashed a skill, its speed surpassing Lin Moyu's expectations. In less than a second, the holy white light crossed 1,000 meters and appeared before the abyssal demons. Before the abyssal demons could react, the holy white light exploded, illuminating the sky. Skill. Disable flying. What's happening? Why can't I fly? What is this skill? Why does it have a flight restriction effect? Isn't flight restriction something only top mages can employ? How did she do it? The abyssal demons suddenly lost their ability to fly and plummeted down in panic. Halfway down, they saw Lin Moyu on the ground, along with his undead legions. Rows upon rows of skeletal warriors stood at the ready, their blades glowing red. The skeletal mages were drumming up elemental power. The abyssal demons couldn't help but feel like sheep entering a lion's den. No, no, fly, I want to fly. The abyssal demons struggled frantically, flapping their wings desperately. But it was of no use. With the flight restriction in place, there was no way they could fly. With a look of panic in her eyes, Alice fished out an exquisite talisman and activated it, vanishing from the sky in an instant. It was an advanced random teleportation talisman, which she acquired who knows where. Now it saved her life. When the abyssal demons were about to hit the ground, a red light spread out, and the damage curse took effect. Next came a full-blown outbreak of skills from the skeletal warriors and skeletal mages. At the same time, Lin Moyu's bone fangs also erupted with tremendous power at close range. In the first second, 2 level 50 abyssal demons were severely injured. By the next second, one was killed, and before the others could react, a thunderous explosion erupted, causing massive casualties among the abyssal demons. Several more explosions ensued, and then everything fell silent. Over 100 abyssal demons, all above level 50, were wiped out. The military badges gleamed brightly. Killing a single abyssal demon above level 50 earned 2,000 military merit. Lin Moyu and Mo Yun split the points evenly, each gaining 1,000. Lin Moyu received 100,000 military merit, and so did Mo Yun. Mo Yun, who was previously a 9-star lieutenant, instantly rose to the colonel rank, and her military badge turned a faint gold. Mo Yun was stupefied. She had struggled for over 2 years to reach the lieutenant rank, and now, in an instant, she had become a colonel. This was a bit too extreme. Looking at Lin Moyu, Mo Yun was speechless. This guy was indeed abnormal. The abyssal demons were wiped out in less than 5 seconds. Lin Moyu turned his gaze to the Crimson Moon Demon, a smile playing on his lips. Chapter 242, The Crimson Moon Demon isn't actually strong. The Crimson Moon Demon continued with its assault, its unlimited spike skill living up to its name by delivering an endless barrage of strikes. However, when Lin Moyu summoned all his undead legions, the number of targets multiplied exponentially. Consequently, the Crimson Moon Demon's attack power plummeted to less than 1/10 of its original strength, posing no significant threat to Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu surveyed the scene and noticed that the Crimson Moon Demon had retreated far away, hiding in a corner of the barrier. A plume of green gas billowed out from that corner, as if screaming for attention, "I'm here, I'm here." Does it really think running can help? The barrier was like a prison, trapping not only him, but also the Crimson Moon Demon. Skeletal warriors, carrying abyssal demon corpses, happily followed Lin Moyu in pursuit. The Crimson Moon Demon, unaware of its impending doom, huddled in the corner, silently enduring the poison's damage. The damage wasn't great, but it was persistent, causing considerable discomfort. Furthermore, the soul blaze Lin Moyu unleashed earlier inflicted unbearable pain that reached the core, making it shiver uncontrollably. Amid clicking footsteps, an abyssal demon corpse was flung at the Crimson Moon Demon. Boom! A deafening explosion rose, and tsunami-like damage surged. The Crimson Moon Demon let out a silent wail, and the ground shook. The corpse explosion unleashed massive damage, causing nearby spikes to burst and splatter blue mucus everywhere, dyeing the earth blue. Standing amidst the mucus, Lin Moyu's bone armor gleamed, blocking all damage. The Crimson Moon Demon attempted to run again, moving underground, but not very fast. Another corpse was thrown its way. Boom! The ground shook once more, and the Crimson Moon Demon unleashed another silent scream. One after another, corpses were thrown into the air and detonated. After bearing 20 corpse explosions, the Crimson Moon Demon let out one last scream and died. Killed level 55 Crimson Moon Demon, EXP plus 2,750,000, military merit plus 10,000. The level 55 Lord rank demon offered as much express as a boss and granted 20,000 military merit. Lin Moyu and Mo Yun each received 10,000 military merit. Despite being a Lord rank demon, the Crimson Moon Demon was rather weak, though it had some peculiarities. However, once its true body was located, it wasn't difficult to defeat it. Furthermore, if one could fly, it would no longer be a threat. All in all, the Crimson Moon Demon had obvious weaknesses that, once exploited, made it easy to kill. The Succubus Queen had sent the Crimson Moon Demon to counter Lin Moyu's skills, creating a difficult situation for him. However, his newly acquired poison-type skill turned the tide. Alarm bells rang in Lin Moyu's mind. For the Succubus Queen's actions to be so targeted, she must have gathered extensive information about him. It meant someone of the human race had leaked his information to her. Was it someone from the Demon Worship Society? Lin Moyu mused, considering it a possibility. Mo Yun flew over and let out a long sigh of relief. Finally, it's dead. Lin Moyu replied tersely, then retrieved his undead legions, leaving only 2 skeletons by his side. The battle raged for a full hour before ending. With both the abyssal demons in the air and the Crimson Moon Demon slain, the barrier began to collapse, unable to sustain itself any longer. Ding, ding, dang, dang, a din erupted outside the barrier. Someone was attacking the barrier. Lin Moyu and Mo Yun were taken aback and turned to look at the same time. With a bang, the barrier shattered like glass and dissipated into the air, revealing the immemorial battlefield's light that hadn't changed for countless years once again. The scarlet light from the 2 shot straight into the sky, vying over attention with the immemorial battlefield's light. You think we wouldn't be able to find you if you hid in a barrier? The primordial runes belong to us Dragonkind. A large group of Dragonkind class users, radiating billowing murderous intent, rushed over, comprised of 5 to 6 parties, totaling 30 to 40 people. They had been attacking the barrier, accelerating its collapse to some extent. Lin Moyu wore a faint happy smile. The Dragonkind class users were really considerate. They came to deliver express, equipment, and military merit. Just as Lin Moyu was about to make a move, a loud shout rang out. Protect our fellow humans. A team of 12 class users rushed over from afar, seemingly intending to assist Lin Moyu. A sharp glint flashed past Lin Moyu's eyes. Regardless of their true intentions, he needed to remain cautious. He who struck first had the upper hand. The 2 skeletons picked up an abyssal demon corpse each from the ground and hurled them into the air. The corpses reached the Dragonkind class users in an instant, followed by a flash of red light. Skill. Damage curse. Skill. Corpse explosion. 2 explosions ensued. The charging Dragonkind class users dropped from the sky like raindrops. Every single one that fell was dead. A few who hadn't fallen, after being dazed for a moment, screamed in panic and fled without looking back. Dragonkind class users might not be the sharpest tools in the shed, but they weren't completely stupid either. They knew when to run for their lives. The human class users that were rushing this way lurched to a stop, looking blankly at the Dragonkind clan users falling from the sky like raindrops. They swallowed hard, some even rubbed their eyes, thinking they were seeing things. Is my mind playing tricks on me? Can someone tell me if this is a hallucination? I also feel like it's a hallucination. But it doesn't quite seem like one. Did a bunch of Dragonkind die just like that? They really did. The skeletons seem to be stripping their equipment. I'll be damned, that action, it looks really practiced. Lin Moyu's storage space was filled with different pieces of equipment, most donated by Dragonkind. They were all platinum rank equipment, whether they were useful or not, it was the right thing to pick them up. The skeletons rushed over, skillfully stripping the equipment from the bodies. To reach such a scary proficiency, they must have repeated this action countless times. The corners of Mo Yun's mouth twitched. She glanced at the indifferent Lin Moyu, who resembled a bandit at this time, from the corner of her eyes. Lin Moyu gazed at the sky. It had been 10 days since he had acquired the primordial rune. His scarlet beam of light was gradually dimming, indicating that the fusion process was nearing its end. During the 10 days, many people had come to snatch the primordial rune from him. If he were killed and the primordial rune was seized by someone else, that person would have to go through the same process he had. This process resembled a rite of acknowledgement. Only by surviving for 10 days could you giant the primordial rune's recognition and the right to possess it. However, for ordinary class sewers, surviving for 10 days under these circumstances wasn't easy. They would need the help of a strong party or be exceptionally strong themselves. Mo Yun was lucky to have encountered Lin Moyu, otherwise, it would have been difficult for her to last for 10 days. Making it through the first 5 days was already quite an achievement. At this moment, Mo Yun still had 3 days left until her fusion was completed. With Lin Moyu around, that shouldn't be an issue. Let's go. After collecting the equipment, Lin Moyu headed deeper into the immemorial battlefield. The location of the divine selection secret realm varied randomly each time it appeared, leaving much to chance. Generally, the closer one was to the core area, the higher the probability of it appearing. Ultimately, it all came down to luck. Mo Yun, sprawled lazily on her Holy Spirit unicorn, asked, "Are you searching for the divine selection secret realm?" Lin Moyu responded with a grunt and said, "I want to obtain divinity." Mo Yun uttered, "With your strength, it shouldn't be difficult to pass through the divine selection secret realm." Lin Moyu was confident in his abilities, but the real challenge lay in finding the realm. Some unlucky people could search for months or even a year and a half and still not find it. Mo Yun's beautiful eyes turned, "Once I have fully fused with the primordial rune, I'll help you look for it." As she spoke, Mo Yun tossed a point teleportation stone to Lin Moyu. Her unicorn could fly and was very fast. Without the interference of the primordial rune, she wouldn't face much danger here. Her searching for the divine selection secret realm from the sky would be much more efficient than Lin Moyu searching on the ground. Thanks. Lin Moyu accepted the teleportation stone without hesitation. Mo Yun smiled sweetly, "I should be the one thanking you. After all, you helped me a lot." Lin Moyu shook his head, "It's nothing much. From slaying the battlefield Ghost King to saving her this time, these were minor tasks to Lin Moyu, but not for Mo Yun. They were a great help to her." Mo Yun thought for a moment, "Thank you anyway. If there's anything you need help with in the future, as long as it's within my capability, I won't refuse." Alright, Chapter 243. Everyone wants to kill Lin Moyu, there's an issue with the primordial rune. In the Dragonkind world, in a massive palace complex, a mighty aura rose abruptly and dispersed the clouds in the sky, as if tearing a massive hole in the sky. A roar came from the palace complex. "Who is it? Who is targeting our Dragonkind? Why have so many of our kind been lost recently? Investigate what's happening on the immemorial battlefield." When the roar fell, another voice responded, "As you command, Great King." Many Dragonkind class users flew out from the palace complex, heading in a certain direction. The Dragonkind world regained its tranquility once again, though the mighty aura remained and lingered on. Shortly after, the Dragonkind class users who went to investigate returned. Moments later, another order came from the palace complex, "Transmit my command. All Dragonkind class users in the upper layer of the immemorial battlefield are to join forces, find Lin Moyu, and kill him. At the same time, speed up the search for the spatial channel. Our kind can't die in vain. I want the humans to pay the price in blood." The Dragonkind world was instantly shrouded in murderous intent, causing even the space itself to tremble. The Dragonkind King's orders quickly reached the immemorial battlefield. The Dragonkind class users at the upper layer's core area received the orders. Meanwhile, Succubus Alice re-established contact with the Succubus Queen, her eyes containing lingering panic. Lady Demon Queen, we failed. Alice dared not lift her head, her voice very soft, looking pitiful. The Succubus Queen's projection appeared before Alice. This is not your fault. Unexpectedly, even the Crimson Moon Demon couldn't kill him. I know you can't enter the core area. Go to the deepest part of the central area and relay my orders to those guys. They are to eliminate Lin Moyu. Killing Lin Moyu is more important than obtaining the primordial runes. Here's how you do it. The Succubus Queen's voice was still sweet and seductive, filled with temptation, but it also carried immense murderous intent. With the new orders received, Alice quickly flew toward the depths of the central area. The following half of the day was peaceful. Neither Dragonkind nor Abyssal Demons came to bother Lin Moyu. The primordial rune finally completed its fusion with him. The scarlet beam of light disappeared, and Lin Moyu was enveloped in a scarlet glow. At the moment the fusion was completed, he learned the location of the primordial space. A map naturally formed in his mind. The primordial space was not in the upper layer of the immemorial battlefield, but in the lower layer. At the same time, Lin Moyu felt a slight burning sensation on the back of his hand, where a rune had appeared. Acquired skill, Enhanced Troops. Enhanced Troops. For 30 seconds, all basic attributes of the host and their summons are increased by 200%, and all attacks deal an additional 500% damage. Cooldown. 1 hour. Mo Yun saw the rune on Lin Moyu's hand and asked immediately, where is the primordial space? In the lower layer. Lin Moyu responded. Upon hearing Lin Moyu's answer, Mo Yun's pretty face immediately wrinkled up, and she said in disappointment, why is it in the lower layer? It seems we won't get a chance to go there anytime soon. The location of the primordial space was different each time it appeared. Sometimes it was in the upper layer, sometimes it was in the lower layer, and sometimes it was even in the deep layer. Only people recognized by the primordial runes could learn the exact location and have the qualification to enter the primordial space. This time, the primordial space appeared in the lower layer, making it accessible only after one reached level 70 and completed the third awakening. With their current levels, neither of the two could go to the lower layer. Even if she could go, Mo Yun wouldn't dare to go. Mo Yun and Lin Moyu, who were level 41 and level 30 respectively, couldn't hope to contend with level 70 third awakening class users or level 70 top demons. If they were to face off against such beings, they might not even be able to escape with their lives. Mo Yun sighed, at least it's not in the deep layer. We'll have a chance eventually. Bai Yiyuan had told Lin Moyu some things about the primordial rune, but hadn't gone into great detail. Perhaps he never considered the possibility that Lin Moyu would obtain a primordial rune on this trip to the immemorial battlefield. Lin Moyu looked over and inquired, are there spatial channels to the lower layer? Mo Yun shook her head. Spatial channels only allow travel from the lower layer to the upper layer, where one can stay for about an hour if no fighting occurs. If fighting occurs, the staying time will be shortened, possibly to just a few minutes. Lin Moyu guessed this was a rule. Is there no other way? Mo Yun tilted her head and thought for a moment. Apart from reaching level 70, there seems to be a way to get to the lower layer in advance. It's said that in the center of the core area, there's a channel that leads to the lower layer. However, a world rank boss is guarding there, and to enter the channel, you must defeat the boss. Lin Moyu asked, what level is it? Mo Yun replied softly, it's level 68. Reportedly, no one has killed it before. It's the only boss on the immemorial battlefield that has never been killed. A top powerhouse has once gone to the upper layer from the lower layer specifically to kill it, but has failed in the end. No, only that, the top powerhouse was even injured, and it was a kind of injury difficult to heal. As Mo Yun spoke, the look in her eyes changed, as if she could visualize the fierce battle. Her voice grew deeper. That boss is terrifying. Many class users have died at its hands. At some point, no one dared to venture into that area anymore. As for the channel, it is just a rumor, it might not even exist. Just wait until you reach level 70 and complete the third awakening, and then go to the lower layer. The primordial space isn't going anywhere. The last time the primordial space migrated was 26 years ago. There are still 74 years left until the next migration. Mo Yun advised Lin Moyu to steer clear from the boss, to focus on reaching level 70, and then proceed to the lower layer. Each time the primordial space migrated, it produced 9 primordial runes that would be scattered across the immemorial battlefield, appearing in the upper, lower, or deep layers. Only by obtaining a primordial rune, surviving for 10 days, fully merging with the rune can one qualify to enter the primordial space. The migration happened once every 100 years, and it was completely random. If one obtained a rune but failed to enter the primordial space in time, the rune would disappear when the space migrated. There was once someone who acquired a rune only 6 months before the primordial space's migration. In the end, they couldn't reach the primordial space in time before the migration, and their rune was rendered useless, wasting a precious opportunity. Lin Moyu grasped Mo Yun's implication. I understand. Mo Yun breathed a sigh of relief and changed the subject. Now that your primordial rune has fused completely, what skill did you get? I heard skills from primordial runes are very powerful. Lin Moyu didn't hide it and described his skill. Mo Yun's understanding of the primordial rune was far greater than that of Lin Moyu. After all, Bai Yiyuan didn't explain things to Lin Moyu in great detail. The primordial rune is truly magical, and the skill it bestows changes depending on the person's class. The same rune can produce different skills for different classes. This rune suits you particularly well. A 30-second full power burst, if used well, can have an extremely impressive effect. Mo Yun imagined the possibilities. If she had this skill, she could deal roughly 10 times the usual amount of damage within the 30 seconds. It would be overkill when dealing with mobs. At the same time, it wouldn't be enough to deal with bosses. The skill would have limited effect. Only a class like Lin Moyu's, with a massive number of summons, could inflict significant damage within 30 seconds. Lin Moyu, of course, understood this far better than she did. Mo Yun continued in admiration. The primordial runes are truly magical. For all these years, many godly powerhouses have tried to decipher them, but unfortunately they made no progress. Every stroke and line of the primordial runes seemed to contain the most profound principles, captivating anyone who saw them. If I could unravel the mysteries of just a single primordial rune, I would have no regrets in my life. At this moment, Mo Yun's eyes sparkled with heartfelt yearning, recounting her dream. Seeing her expression, Lin Moyu glanced at the back of his hand. Isn't it just the character Bing 1? What's so special about it? Wait, Lin Moyu was suddenly deeply shocked. 1. The character Bing means soldiers, troops, weapons, etc. Chapter 244. Memories of the Past, Chinese Character. The rune was shockingly the character Bing. It wasn't a character from this world, but from his previous world. It was a Chinese character. He was too familiar with Chinese characters, to the extent that he didn't react at first. How could the primordial rune display a Chinese character? What did this mean? Could there be more things related to China within the primordial space? Lin Moyu lowered his head, narrowing his eyes, feeling as though he had stumbled upon an incredible secret. It was mystical, truly mystical. At this moment, Lin Moyu felt a strong desire to explore the primordial space. He wished he could go there immediately and take a look. Unfortunately, it wasn't possible to go there now. Lin Moyu would either have to kill the boss in the centermost of the upper layer and go down the channel, or wait until he reached level 70 and then enter the lower layers of the immemorial battlefield from the outside. These were the only 2 options. What are you thinking about? Don't tell me you're studying the primordial rune. Mo Yun suddenly asked. Lin Moyu had his head lowered as if he were inspecting the primordial rune. Mo Yun uttered with a smile, don't waste your time. The primordial rune is way too complex to understand it in a few tries. You'll need to be at least level 70 before you can even start studying it. Lin Moyu suppressed the shock in his eyes, looked up, and said, oh, I was just taking a look. He couldn't possibly reveal that he recognized the primordial rune, not even to Bai Yiyuan. It seems this mystery can only be solved in the primordial space. Lin Moyu mused. Solely examining the character Bing couldn't provide any answers. The answers could only be found in the primordial space. Meanwhile, he should focus on leveling up, for with strength came qualification. The 2 proceeded toward the core area. The level and number of the monsters grew higher and greater respectively. Solo class users were practically non-existent here. Human class users moved in parties. For safety, multiple parties stayed within proximity, and distress signals were heeded, demonstrating the unity of the human race. Human class users occupied a large area here, with parties maintaining contact with each other, unafraid of Dragonkand and abyssal demons. Dragonkind class users also moved in groups, but were less organized compared to humans. Abyssal demons were even more chaotic, with a high-level demon leading a group of low-level demons and roaming erratically. The three factions were often in conflict, with battles never ceasing. Mo Yun, with the scarlet pillar of light above her, attracted the attention of many human class users, leaving them surprised. Two people, one level 41 and one level 30, dared to wander around here. Any random monster they encountered here should be able to kill them. In particular, with the primordial runes' light above Mo Yun, they would be even more a target for pursuit. According to reason, they shouldn't have been able to get here. Yet, here they were, advancing in a leisurely manner, seemingly slow yet progressing swiftly. Lin Moyu's pace wasn't slow. Although it appeared he was merely taking a stroll, but he could cover thousands of kilometers each day, heading toward the light. The immemorial battlefield was incredibly vast. Ever since arriving here, Lin Moyu had traveled at least 10,000 kilometers, yet it didn't seem like he had gotten any closer to the pillar of light rising into the sky from the core. After resting for 2 days, Mo Yun had fully recovered. There was now only 1 day left until she would completely fuse with the rune. By the time she fully fused with the primordial rune, even if someone killed her, they wouldn't be able to obtain the rune. People weren't eager to do things that didn't come with benefits. At that time, she should be safe. She just had to hold on for one last day. Lin Moyu and Mo Yun bypassed a monster blocking their path. They went out of their way to avoid fighting, even if it meant taking a detour of several kilometers. They repeated this again and again. Mo Yun asked curiously, with your strength, clearing these monsters shouldn't be difficult. Why do we keep taking detours? Lin Moyu gave her a flat glance. What are we here for? To look for the divine selection secret realm. Mo Yun replied instinctively, a puzzled expression on her face, as if saying, don't you know? Lin Moyu continued, and is there a set location for it? Mo Yun shook her head. No one knew where the divine selection secret realm would appear. Someone once moved a large stone and found the divine selection secret realm behind it. Therefore, it was all up to luck and chance. Lin Moyu uttered, since there's no set location, does it matter which way we go? Mo Yun had nothing to say in response. His words were right, without a specific location, it didn't matter which way they went. There was another reason Lin Moyu hadn't mentioned, he didn't want to gain express. He had tried to kill as few monsters as possible, but the monsters only got more numerous and grew more aggressive. Many times he couldn't avoid them and had to kill them. At this time, his express had already reached 70%. If this continued, it wouldn't be long before he leveled up. There was a slight difference between gaining divinity at level 30 and at level 31. Following Bai Yiyuan's advice, Lin Moyu strived for the best possible outcome. When other class users saw them avoiding the monsters, they interpreted it differently. Most assumed the two were scared and didn't dare provoke the monsters. This made sense. After all, the monsters here were at least level 55. To their mind, with the levels of the two, provoking these monsters was tantamount to throwing their lives away. Seeing Mo Yun, a man's eyes lit up, and he came over. Beautiful miss, my name is Claude. I see that you've obtained a primordial rune. We can protect you. Claude was dressed in the distinctive attire of an Eagle Kingdom class user, wearing a military badge, 8-star lieutenant. Mo Yun shook her head, there's no need. The man looked disappointed, but miss, you'll be in danger like this. There are many monsters here. Furthermore, your primordial rune will attract abyssal demons and Dragonkind. He just finished speaking, when a hearty laugh came from the side. We of the Shengxia Empire don't need protection from people of the Eagle Kingdom. A class user party, dressed in the characteristic attire of the Shengxia Empire, walked over. They were 18 in total, exuding a formidable aura. On the immemorial battlefield, such parties had a special name, boss party. They didn't go into dungeons, but roamed the immemorial battlefield, looking for boss monsters to kill. On the immemorial battlefield, there was a staggering amount of ordinary rank bosses. Ordinary rank bosses weren't as strong as Lord rank and/or World rank bosses, and the things they dropped weren't particularly impressive. But they still dropped equipment that regular monsters didn't. Killing them was highly profitable. Occasionally, a few pieces of top-tier equipment would drop, which could not only enhance their own equipment, but also be sold for a lot of money. On the immemorial battlefield, there were quite a few boss parties. Mo Yun glanced at them and said in a quiet voice, they're from the Jalan Guild. Lin Moyu had heard of the Jalan Guild, mainly because they were incredibly famous. The Jalan Guild was one of the top guilds in the Shengxia Empire, and it was more powerful than the Dynasty Guild. Whether it was the immemorial battlefield, the dimensional battlefield, or the wilderness of the Shengxia Empire, their presence was everywhere. The party in front of Lin Moyu was a boss party from the Jalan Guild, each member proudly wearing the guild's unique badge. Their equipment was all top-tier platinum rank. They also had a few boss accessories. Zhang Hanshan didn't hide his aura of superiority, his face full of confidence. Being over level 60, he looked down at Claude with a condescending gaze. Claude forced a smile. So it's Zhang Hanshan from the Jalan Guild. I see that you know of me. Zhang Hanshan glanced at Claude indifferently and then ignored him. The blatant disregard made Claude's expression crack slightly, but he eventually turned and left without a word. He knew he was no match for Zhang Hanshan. If they were to fight, he would surely be the one to eat a loss. Claude couldn't afford to provoke him and had no choice but to back down. It wasn't just him, his entire party felt the same way. After Claude left, their party quickly distanced themselves, eager to avoid any trouble with Zhang Hanshan. They couldn't afford to provoke the Shengxia Empire or the Jalan Guild, including Zhang Hanshan and them. Zhang Hanshan then turned to Mo Yun, Holy Spirit Summoner, mid-tier legendary class, very impressive. Mo Yun smiled but didn't say anything. Given Zhang Hanshan's level, Mo Yun's level and class couldn't be concealed from him. Next, Zhang Hanshan looked at Lin Moyu and showed a surprised expression, level 30, Necromancer. This is the first time I've heard of this class. In the next moment, his pupils contracted sharply, and he stood up straight, saluting Lin Moyu, 9-star Lieutenant Zhang Hanshan greets senior officer. Chapter 245, Fresh Corpses at the Ready. Lin Moyu and Mo Yun's gold military badges were strikingly dazzling. Though they were only one rank above Zhang Hanshan's 9-star lieutenant, but that single rank made all the difference. In the military, what mattered wasn't level nor class, but military rank, it determined one's status. Lin Moyu returned Zhang Hanshan's military salute, "Are you military?" Zhang Hanshan replied loudly, "Yes, I was a military personnel once, but I retired due to personal matters." Lin Moyu nodded, You can go on your way. There's no need to worry about us." "Got it," Zhang Hanshan responded promptly, although Lin Moyu seemed to be only level 30, but the fact that he arrived here safely suggested he possessed great strength. Moreover, as a colonel, must possess the requisite power to match his rank. Zhang Hanshan surmised that Lin Moyu must have used some method to conceal his true level, suggesting that his actual level was likely much higher than it appeared. As Zhang Hanshan turned to leave, Mo Yun, who also held the colonel rank, suddenly called out to him. Not daring to show any disrespect, Zhang Hanshan stopped. Mo Yun asked, "Have you seen the Divine Selection Secret Realm recently?" Zhang Hanshan pointed in a certain direction, saying, "It's 500 kilometers that way, and I saw it 4 days ago." Lin Moyu's eyes lit up. Unexpectedly, Zhang Hanshan had actually encountered it. For people like them who had roamed the immemorial battlefield for years, they had basically all encountered the Divine Selection Secret Realm at some point and entered it. Each person had only one chance in their lifetime to enter the Divine Selection Secret Realm, regardless of the outcome. Once that chance was used, the realm held no further value for them, so they paid it little attention. Typically, the Divine Selection Secret Realm lasted around 10 days before changing locations. Since Zhang Hanshan and company had discovered it 4 days ago, its current status was uncertain. "Thank you," Mo Yun said, expressing her gratitude to Zhang Hanshan. Zhang Hanshan smiled and said loudly, "You're welcome." With that, Zhang Hanshan led his party away. Lin Moyu observed that many members of the party exuded a military presence. This kind of presence couldn't be faked, confirming that this was a formidable party. Mo Yun beamed a smile and said, "Let's go." Lin Moyu nodded, and they set off in the direction Zhang Hanshan had pointed. They expected to cover the 500 kilometers in half a day. A beam of scarlet light shot into the sky, casting a crimson hue over the immemorial battlefield. Mo Yun's fusion with her primordial rune was nearing completion. Within a day, the fusion would be finished. At that time, it would be difficult to locate her on the vast battlefield. Additionally, with the advanced random teleportation talismans, it wouldn't be difficult for her to escape. After a while, the sound of footsteps came from behind. Zhang Hanshan's boss party returned, running at a fat speed. Zhang Hanshan was visibly anxious. Mo Yun inquired, "What's wrong?" Zhang Hanshan explained, "Just got word that near the core area, a large number of abyssal demons and Dragonkind class users have appeared. Our guild members have had several clashes with them. However, they seem they have another target. Judging from the direction, they should be coming for you. The Jalan Guild had many members on the immemorial battlefields, allowing for timely exchange of information. Mo Yun, still releasing the primordial rune's scarlet beam of red light, was particularly conspicuous and easy to locate. Mo Yun glanced at Lin Moyu and noticed his expression, still calm and composed, showing no signs of worry. Lin Moyu said, "The fusion is almost complete. It looks like they're preparing for one last final fight. Or they are coming for revenge." Mo Yun said solemnly, "To be able to roam in that area, they must be level 59 or level 60 demons. And with the Dragonkand class users, maybe I should run." If she were to leave Lin Moyu's side, given how vast the immemorial battlefield was, it wouldn't be easy for them to find him. However, this would put her at greater risk. Lin Moyu naturally refused, "There's no need. I'll just kill however many come." Lin Moyu's words were casual but filled with confidence. Next, he turned to Zhang Hanshan, "Thanks for the information. They're probably coming for me. You should leave to avoid getting implicated in this." Zhang Hanshan laughed heartily. "What's there to be implicated in? Our human race and them have always been mortal enemies, where we kill one another on sight. I've killed plenty of them too. Besides, the Jalan Guild is already being mobilized. We have nothing to fear." Lin Moyu didn't insist further. If that's the case, he trailed off and looked toward the distant sky. There's really no use to leave now. Under the light of the immemorial battlefield, Lin Moyu saw a massive number of dark dots appeared in the distant sky, each representing an abyss demon. He then looked in another direction, where more dark dots emerged, accompanied by the distinctive roars of Dragonkand. A large number of Dragonkand class users were flying his way. Zhang Hanshan barked, "Prepare for battle." Swing. Along with flashes of cold light, blades and weapons were drawn. The party members behind him Zhang Hanshan quickly readied themselves for combat. These class users moved in perfect unison, obeying orders without question, solemn expression on their faces, eyes filled with fighting spirit. Although they kept silent, it could be seen that their combat sense was extremely well developed. The party's Battle King support began casting status buffs, and buzzing sounds filled the air. A party of 18 people, if well coordinated, could withstand an enemy force twice their size. However, they now faced enemies many times their size. Despite knowing they were outmatched, they were not afraid, nor did they panic. They gripped their weapons and calmly prepared to face the situation, fully displaying the demeanor of military at this moment. Zhang Hanshan relayed the situation here. In just 2 seconds, he received a reply. He said solemnly, "The reinforcements will be here soon. We can hold out until there." The Jalan Guild had mobilized. Many people in the area had received the news and were on their way. At this moment, Zhang Hanshan prepared to make a last stand. Suddenly, he received an invitation from Lin Moyu. It was a Legion invitation. The military badge on Lin Moyu's chest was shining brightly. After becoming a colonel, Lin Moyu was eligible to activate the Legion mode. Previously, on the first battlefield, it was the Legion Overlord who had activated the Legion mode. This time, Lin Moyu was the one who activated it. Zhang Hanshan joined the Legion without hesitation. At this moment, Lin Moyu became the Legion commander, and his information was revealed to the others. Legion's commander, Lin Moyu. Level 30. Class Necromancer. He was really level 30. The Legion's information didn't lie. But how could a level 30 possibly get here? The dark dots in the distant sky were rapidly approaching. In just 10 seconds, their appearances could be seen clearly. On one side, there were at least 200 abyssal demons, all above level 60. On the other side, there were at least 10 parties of Dragonkand, each party ranging from 6 to 18 members, adding up to more than 100 Dragonkand. The enemy outnumbered them roughly 20 to 1. Zhang Hanshan's expression was more serious than ever, his blood boiling with excitement, his eyes burning with fighting spirit. This was a true veteran. No matter what predicament he faced, he would never show fear, never be afraid. And it was the same for the rest of his party. Gusts of cold wind surged. The sky turned a shade darker, and the temperature dropped sharply. A burly Lich general appeared next to Lin Moyu, and then a fully fledged undead legion materialized in front. The Lich general raised its stave and, accompanied by thunderous roars, the entire legion was erupted with white light. Skill. Legion enhancement. So many skeletons. Is this how he was able to get here? Zhang Hanshan's expression changed. Lin Moyu became more mysterious in his eyes. The skeletons complied with Lin Moyu's will and swiftly rushed toward the nearest monster, and then activated their skills. Simultaneously, Lin Moyu pointed with his finger. Skill. Damage Curse. The level 55 monster had no power to resist and was killed within just 2 seconds, and then the skeletons quickly dragged back its corpse. Lin Moyu turned to Zhang Hanshan and asked, "Do you have a way to bring them down?" Zhang Hanshan, a veteran of the immemorial battlefield, was used to dealing with abyssal demons. He had developed a set of countermeasures. Perhaps he and his party had a way to bring down flying enemies. Once they were down, Lin Moyu could show them what true hell was. Zhang Hanshan said, "We do. Our party's Shadow Great Mage has equipment with a flight restriction skill. Although not as powerful as the skill of top 3rd awakening mages, it can still prevent them from flying for 1 minute." Following Zhang Hanshan's words, Lin Moyu looked at the petite female mage. Her weapon provided a flight restriction skill. It forbid flight within a radius of 2,000 meters for 1 minute, with a cooldown of 10 minutes. Compared to Mo Yun's flight restriction skill, it had larger range and longer duration. Once flight was restricted, there would be no need to hold back. Fresh corpses were at the ready. Chapter 246. The number of fresh corpses is growing. Succubus Alice was among the demons. Although she was only level 50, which was considered low level among the abyssal demons, but her status was the highest, serving as an envoy of the succubus queen. The abyssal demons were compelled to obey her commands. Zhang Hanshan, having identified the approaching demons, breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunate, there are only high-rank demons, no lord-rank demons. The abyssal world was teeming with demons, and they had a strict hierarchy. Demons were categorized by level. Below level 40 were ordinary demons, between level 40 and level 69 were high-level demons, above level 70 were top-level demons. In addition, demons were also divided into ranks, with higher ranks correlating with greater status. Demon, Lord rank demon, and Demon King rank demon. This strict classification clearly defined the hierarchy among the demons. Lin Moyu was well aware of this classification. The Crimson Moon demon he encountered before was a Lord rank demon. In terms of status, demons of the same level couldn't compare to it. Only top-level demons above level 70 could rival the level 55 Crimson Moon demon in terms of strength. However, the Crimson Moon demon was quite special, differing from ordinary demons. Its mind was rather simplistic. It possessed Lord-rank demon strength, but lacked the intelligence typically associated with its rank, making it suitable only as a henchman. The Dragonkind also had a hierarchical distinction, but it was cruder and more senseless, which was quite in line with their nature. Among Dragonkind, the purer the bloodline, the higher the status. Therefore, there were common and noble Dragonkind. Even if it was a level 70 common Dragonkind, their status and authority would be lower than that of a level 30 noble Dragonkind. The Dragonkind valued bloodline above all else. Among the approaching Dragonkind, some possessed powerful bloodlines. This was evident from the auras they emanated and their equipment. Their auras were more powerful, and their equipment was more ornate and exquisite, adorned with numerous jewels, vibrant and colorful, fitting the Dragonkind's characteristics. They belonged to the noble class of Dragonkind. Lin Moyu observed the rapidly approaching Dragonkind and remarked, "Their equipment looks quite impressive." Mo Yun looked at Lin Moyu askance. This guy was already eyeing other people's equipment. Lin Moyu turned to Zhang Hanshan and said, "In a moment, follow my lead and use the flight restriction skill." Zhang Hanshan nodded, "Understood." The Shadow Great Mage nodded, "Got it." Zhang Hanshan chose to trust Lin Moyu, and his party chose to trust Zhang Hanshan. When the abyssal demons were about 500 meters away, they halted and spread out across the sky, maintaining a distance of more than 100 meters from one another. This was clearly a tactic to counter Lin Moyu's corpse explosion skill. Alice fixed her eyes on Lin Moyu, located the farthest away from Lin Moyu. Seeing Lin Moyu's calm and even slightly relaxed expression, she couldn't help but feel a growing fear. She threw down a crystal ball, which seemed to flicker with flames inside. With a bang, the crystal ball shattered upon hitting the ground, creating a vast sea of fire. The fire was an eerie dark green, burning fiercely on the solid black ground. The earth instantly melted into lava, serving as a testament to the fire's extreme temperature. The countenance of Mo Yun and Zhang Hanshan changed dramatically, and Mo Yun exclaimed in shock, "Abyssal fire." Lin Moyu turned to look with a questioning expression. He had never heard of abyssal fire before. Mo Yun explained, it is said that abyssal fire is the source of power for abyssal demons, that the first demon in the abyss was born from abyssal fire. Within the range of abyssal fire, the power of abyssal demons will be greatly increased. At this moment, Zhang Hanshan also spoke up, within the range of abyssal fire, the power of abyssal demons can be raised by at least 30%. Lin Moyu roughly understood, the abyssal fire could be seen as a state bus for the abyssal demons. The abyssal demons already had the highest attributes among the three races, and with this status buff, their attributes would become even more formidable. Zhang Hanshan continued, it was because of the presence of abyssal fire that our human armies have failed to attack the abyss so far. We must be careful. After the abyssal fire was released, Alice shouted, attack. In an instant, the large number of abyssal demons rushed forward, their appearances ferocious, exuding powerful auras. Dark abyssal power surged in their hands, and they unleashed a barrage of attacks. The abyssal power transformed into black swords that rained down like raindrops. Some of the abyssal power combined with the abyssal fire, forming dark green fireballs that fell from the sky. Moreover, the abyssal demons flapped their wings, creating tornado-like attacks. A few abyssal demons in the sky suddenly disappeared. Zhang Hanshan shouted, be careful. He wanted to protect Lin Moyu, but then was stopped by the other party's gaze. At the same time, 4 slender daggers appeared around Lin Moyu. 4 abyssal demons, capable of becoming invisible, had snuck up on Lin Moyu. Bang, 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 bang. Along with 4 consecutive sharp sounds, the bone armor shone brightly, blocking their attacks. Lin Moyu smirked slightly and pressed down with his hand. Skill. Slow curse. Subjected to the curse, the 4 abyssal demons were revealed. The 4 demons were short in stature, only about 1.5 meters tall, half-crouched with a pair of small wings on their backs, unlike other high-level demons that were tall and imposing. A flash of panic streaked past the eyes of the 4 demons, and they retreated swiftly, leaving afterimages in the air. Seeing the slight smile playing on Lin Moyu's lips, Succubus Alice felt a chill go down her spine, realizing something was amiss. Through the gaps in the mass of skeletons, she saw a corpse, a fresh monster corpse. There was another flash of red light, and the slow curse was replaced by the damage curse. Almost at the same time, there was a loud explosion. The monster corpse detonated, instantly killing the 4 abyssal demons. The 55-level monster might not be a match for level 60 abyssal demons in terms of health. But with the 10-fold amplification of the damage curse and the 10-fold amplification of the corpse explosion, even level 60 abyssal demons couldn't withstand it. Zhang Hanshan shivered involuntarily when he saw this scene. He recognized the 4 dead demons. They were abyssal nightstalkers, similar to human assassins. Abyssal nightstalkers could turn invisible, were very fast, possessed great explosive power, and specialized in ambushes. They could even potentially one-shot other mages and supports of the same level. However, the downside was that their health and defense were fairly low, and once caught, they could easily be killed. But they shouldn't have been one-shotted like this. With 4 fresh corpses, the battle turned in their favor. Alice bellowed while in midair, spread out. Be careful of Lin Moyu's group attacks. A barrage of attacks from the abyssal demons rained, pummeling Lin Moyu. His bone armor gleamed and creaked under the onslaught. The power of the attacks was undeniably formidable. Although not quite on par with those from the Earth Evil Centipede, but the attacks were just as potent as those from the Crimson Moon Demon. Even his bone armor couldn't withstand them for long. Lin Moyu quickly recast his bone armor and that of Mo Yun. As for Zhang Hanshan and company, there was no need to worry about them. The Shadow Great Mage and their party cast a dark cloud that shielded them from all attacks. The abyssal demons spread out and launched attacks from a distance, exactly as Succubus Alice had planned. She believed this was the safest approach. The surprise attack of the 4 abyssal nightstalkers was merely an attempt, but it had failed, much to her surprise. Ignoring the dispersed abyssal demons, Lin Moyu turned his attention to the Dragonkind class users charging toward them. The Dragonkind, fairly simple in their thinking, rushed directly at them, not paying attention to what the abyssal demons were doing. They were practically ignoring the abyssal demons. Following the Dragon King's orders, their sole objective was to reduce Lin Moyu to a pulp. The supports cast status buffs in rapid succession as the melee fighters charged at Lin Moyu. This is the kind fight like. Lin Moyu chuckled. A skeleton picked an abyssal nightstalker corpse and threw it into the air. Mo Yun said softly, it's going to rain again. Before Zhang Hanshan could react, a red light flashed by, followed by a powerful explosion. The explosion in the air was even more devastating than on the ground. Nearly half of the Dragonkind class users were killed in the blast, and their bodies plummeted in a grisly downpour. It was only then that Zhang Hanshan understood what Mo Yun meant by rain. Even several Dragonkind nobles at the forefront, clad in ornate armor, were not spared. They also perished in the explosion. Chapter 247, It's About Time. To Lin Moyu, corpses were the ultimate weapons. The succubus was livid, gnawing at her lower lip, nearly drawing blood. What were these Dragonkind doing? But in the next moment, a look of delight appeared in her eyes, and she seductively licked her lips. Perhaps, these Dragonkind can be put to good use. There were at least 50 corpses on the ground now. In this situation, who would dare to get close to Lin Moyu? Even Lord-rank demons wouldn't stand a chance. Lin Moyu's skill was simply too freakish. The Dragonkind were stupefied by the explosion. Nearly half of them had fallen. Except for some supports and long-range class users, all the melee fighters were dead, including 3 nobles. Although these Dragonkind weren't very bright, but they now understood that they couldn't approach Lin Moyu. Seeing how high the abyssal demons were staying, the Dragonkind rose high into the sky, keeping away from Lin Moyu. Use long-range attacks. The last remaining noble support shouted, his gaze fixed on Lin Moyu, a shade of fear in his eyes. That explosion just now had truly scared him. Archers launched volley after volley of arrows, and mages began to cast all sorts of large-scale magic spells, fireballs, bolts of lightning, violent storms, etc. rained down. Although the distance reduced the power of their attacks significantly and made it impossible to lock on, but fortunately their levels were high, above level 60, ensuring that their attacks still had considerable power. And they could use large-scale attacks, which didn't require locking on. Like the abyssal demons, they stayed hundreds of meters away, launching long-range attacks at Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu's eyes flashed with a cold gleam, bullying me because I can't fly. Make them fall, Lin Moyu commanded. The Shadow Great Mage raised her weapon, and bright golden radiance ejected out, piercing the sky, and then exploded, creating a massive gold ring. The ring instantly spanned thousands of meters and enveloped the surroundings. In the next second, the abyssal demons and Dragonkind suddenly lost their ability to fly and plummeted down. What's going on? Why can't I fly? Flight restriction. Someone used a flight restriction skill. The abyssal demons and Dragonkind fell like raindrops from a height of several hundred meters. Lin Moyu willed, and undead legions appeared one after another. The Lich generals simultaneously cast status buffs on the skeletons. In an instant, white light shot up into the sky. Zhang Hanshan's eyelids twitched, watching the undead legions before him in disbelief. How could there be so many? He had just witnessed the power of the skeletons. But then, a massive number appeared. With these numbers, they could probably march all the way to the center of the core. Could anyone stop them? Suddenly, he recalled the 2 recent instances when the sky changed color recently, when 2 world bosses were killed. He couldn't help but wonder, could that have been his doing? It wasn't just Zhang Hanshan, but his teammates were also stunned. There were so many skeletons, each exuding a chilling aura and murderous intent. It was terrifying. The skeletons hurriedly picked up the fresh corpses scattered on the ground, ready for action at any moment. The falling demons and Dragonkind, seeing the hordes of skeletons on the ground, were panic-stricken. They watched in horror as the skeletons hoisted the corpses and began running toward them. Succubus Alice was among them and was also falling. Under the effect of the flight restriction skill, they were helpless, only able to watch as they plummeted down. Having experienced this before, Alice was prepared this time. The flight restriction was within her expectations. She took out a black gem, similar to the one she had previously used to summon the Succubus Queen and open a spatial channel. Although both gems were given by the Succubus Queen, but their functions were different. As the gem activated, a soft glow enveloped her. Alice suddenly lurched to a stop and then swiftly ascended. The flight restriction skill no longer affected her. An advanced item neutralized my flight restriction skill. The Shadow Great Mage murmured. Lin Moyu made a sound of assent and uttered, "It's fine." Seeing the familiar succubus rise to the sky again, Lin Moyu knew it must be the doing of another gift from the Succubus Queen. Alice had escaped his grasp multiple times. It seemed this time would be no different. The skeletons tossed the corpses at the falling demons and Dragonkind. Lin Moyu promptly cast the damage curse, and then detonated the corpses in the air. Many demons and Dragonkind were blown apart before they even hit the ground. The skeletal warriors, ignoring the abyssal fire, charged forward, eagerly awaiting the demons and Dragonkin to land, their large blades poised to strike. Lin Moyu followed closely behind. The moment he stepped into the abyssal fire, his bone armor shimmered, blocking the damage. To the abyssal demons, Lin Moyu appeared more like a demon himself. Once they entered the range of his skill, he would detonate corpses, each explosion covering a range of 160 meters, killing multiple demons each time. Many were already dead before hitting the ground. Once the rest landed, they were greeted by the heavy strikes and powerful magic spells of the skeletal warriors and skeletal mages. Lin Moyu was like a killing machine, slaying demons left and right. The Dragonkin fared no better, despite not facing Lin Moyu directly. The attacks from the skeletal warriors and skeletal mages were equally devastating to them. Zhang Hanshan and the others saw this and felt that their resolve to fight to the death had been in vain. This wasn't a battle, but a one-sided massacre. The level 60 high-level demons were nothing more than ants before Lin Moyu, a mere level 30 human. They were mowed down like grass. Party leader, it looks like we don't need to do anything. The demons are nearly wiped out, and the Dragonkin aren't faring any better. Zhang Hanshan didn't seem to hear his teammate, his attention entirely captured by his military badge. His silver lieutenant badge was gone, along with the 9 stars, replaced by a gold colonel badge. He had been promoted to colonel. Zhang Hanshan was overjoyed. Check your military badges. Upon hearing Zhang Hanshan's words, his teammates looked at their military badges. Each military badge was glowing. Without exception, they had all been promoted. Although none of them had made a leap from lieutenant to colonel like Zhang Hanshan, but they had all gained stars. At this moment, the way they looked at Lin Moyu had changed, becoming much more amicable. Lin Moyu was right, these people used to be military personnel. They left the military due to different reasons. But due to their military background, they valued military rank more than ordinary people. They realized that Lin Moyu could easily deal with the demons and Dragonkin on his own, without needing their help. So all this military merit was essentially a gift from him, filling them with gratitude. Lin Moyu, however, simply didn't want to level up or accidentally harm them. That was why he formed a legion, to share the express with them. As for the military merit, Lin Moyu didn't value it as much as they did. Lin Moyu, leading his undead legions, unleashed a great massacre amidst the blazing abyssal fire. A short 1 minute was fully enough. Even after the minute was over, with the skeletal warriors clinging to them with all their might, the demons couldn't escape. The primary target of the skeletal warriors was their wings. Since they had come down, they couldn't hope to take flight again. Screams rose one after another. The enhancement brought by the abyssal fire proved to be of no use. In a one-on-one fight, the demons might be stronger than the skeletal warriors. The problem was that this was a group fight, and there were no rules. Alice initially hovered at an altitude of 500 meters. But later, feeling unsafe, she ascended a bit further. Observing what was happening on the ground, she took a deep breath. It's about time. She manipulated the gem in her hand, and the gem began to emit a soft light. The projection of the succubus queen appeared in the light. The succubus queen smiled seductively. Is everything ready? Alice nodded. Yes, everything is prepared. Of the 228 level 60 high-level demons, 161 have died. And of the 126 Dragonkin, 93 have perished. With the demons and Dragonkin combined, more than 250 had died. The succubus queen chuckled coquettishly. Unexpectedly the Dragonkin have joined in the fun too. Perfect. Let's make use of their bloodline power. She extended her slender, beautiful finger and pointed downward. In an instant, the abyssal fire surged, engulfing the surroundings. The ground melted practically in a flash. Crap! Zhang Hanshan roared and activated his group defense skill. Chapter 248. Sacrifice, Abyssal Fire Sprite. The world was filled with dark green fire, completely obscuring the vision. Nothing but the fire could be seen. Zhang Hanshan swallowed hard, his face was ashen. This must be the doing of a top-level demon. The group defense skill was quickly weakening, as the fire's damage far exceeded its defensive capabilities. Zhang Hanshan gritted his teeth and maintained the defense with all his might. However, after merely 5 seconds, the shield shattered. As the flames poured in, Zhang Hanshan thrust his sword into the ground, lifting his head, and roared, damage absorption. Light burst forth from him, enveloping all his teammates once again. Subsequently, he roared, extreme defense. With the two skills working in tandem, all the damage from the flames was transferred to him. Run! Zhang Hanshin gritted his teeth and urged. He had to maintain the two skills, and especially the first one, the damage absorption skill, making him unable to move. But his teammates could move. As long as they could escape, there was hope of survival. Zhang Hanshin felt a pang of regret. He had just been promoted to colonel, and now he was going to die. At this moment, he thought of Lin Moyu, wondering how he was faring. Zhang Hanshin held on with all his might. Looking back, he saw that none of his teammates had left. The flames were too powerful, and he had to bear the damage dealt to 18 people by himself. Even with extreme defense, he couldn't persevere for long. After 10 seconds, extreme defense had reached its limit, and its light dimmed significantly. At this time, there was a shout, and a shield appeared. Another knight in the party said with a smile, "Party leader, you forgot I'm also a knight." Zhang Hanshin, who hadn't thought of that, chuckled, "Good brother." He didn't fear death, nor did the rest of his party. If they feared death, they wouldn't have come to the immemorial battlefield to begin with. The shield shattered after 3 seconds. The knight then used damage absorption and extreme defense, like Zhang Hanshin, but he lasted even less time. His skills entered cooldown. Subsequently, the flames surged once again. With a buzz, a holy light illuminated the ground, pushing back the flames, creating a clear space. Mo Yun's Holy Spirit Unicorn had reached them at some point and unleashed a shield. The Holy Spirit Unicorn's shield bore a holy aura, the antithesis of abyssal power. Although its level wasn't high, but its defensive power was unexpectedly better than that of Zhang Hanshin. Mo Yun slowly emerged from the flames, her bone armor gleaming brightly, completely blocking the abyssal fire. Her appearance brought them hope. If Mo Yun was alive, then Lin Moyu should be fine as well. A few seconds later, Lin Moyu also emerged from the flames. He raised his hand, pointed at Zhang Hanshin and the others, and gently pressed. Bone armor appeared on them one by one. Zhang Hanshin murmured, "This must be the doing of a level 70 top-level demon." Lin Moyu shook his head, "It's not a top-level demon, but the succubus queen." When the succubus queen's projection appeared earlier, Lin Moyu had seen it. He knew that all of this was her doing. Zhang Hanshin was startled. "The succubus queen? Why would?" Lin Moyu replied calmly, "She wants to kill me. She failed last time, so now she's trying a different approach. I got you all caught up in this." Zhang Hanshin quickly shook his head. "Not at all. After all, we humans and the abyss are mortal enemies." Lin Moyu made a sound of assent and quietly watched the fire. Did the succubus queen really think she could kill him with just the abyssal fire? No way. She must have something else up her sleeve. Meanwhile, the Holy Spirit Unicorn's defense reached its limit, and Mo Yun put it away. The bone armor glowed in the fire, standing strong, blocking all damage. Everyone was astonished by this powerful defensive skill. Standing amid the fierce abyssal fire, they were completely unharmed. Most importantly, this skill could be used on others. It was incredible. Every skill Lin Moyu had shown so far was incredibly powerful, almost perfect. The abyssal fire burned fiercely for a full 2 minutes, then the flames changed and began to spin like a tornado. Lin Moyu saw the numerous corpses being swept by the flames, flying through the air and turning to ashes. Although the corpses burned down, but their life essence remained. The life essence of demons and dragonkind combined with the abyssal fire. Mo Yun's complexion changed. Not good, the succubus queen is summoning an abyssal fire sprite. This is a secret technique of the abyss. By sacrificing a large amount of lives, an abyssal fire sprite can be summoned from abyssal fire. Lin Moyu asked, "Is it strong?" Mo Yun shook her head, "It's hard to say. It depends on the quantity and strength of the sacrificed lives. But in any case, the abyssal fire sprite is definitely stronger than a lord-rank demon of the same level." Even Zhang Hanshin had never seen abyssal fire before and didn't expect there to be such a thing. Stronger than a lord-rank demon? Wasn't that akin to saying that it was nearly on par with a lord-rank boss? They usually wouldn't dare to mess with such a boss. They would need at least 40 or 50 people to contend against such a boss, and even then, success wasn't guaranteed. Lin Moyu said solemnly, "So, it might be stronger than the Crimson Moon Demon." Mo Yun gritted her teeth and nodded firmly, "Most likely. After all, the sacrifices were all demons and dragonkind at level 60 and above. This abyssal fire sprite must be at least level 60. The abyssal fire sprite was at least level 60, at least as strong as a lord-rank demon." Lin Moyu wasn't afraid, but was intrigued instead. With such a strong abyssal fire sprite, what will it drop? Mo Yun seemed to have a deep understanding of this. After all, coming from a good family, she knew a lot of things. It is said to drop fire gem, which can be used to increase fire elemental resistance. Fire gem, that was similar to poison gem, and it had a similar function. Lin Moyu blurted out, "Can fire gem grant fire-type skills?" Mo Yun immediately shook her head, "That's impossible." Lin Moyu felt a bit disappointed. It seems it's not as great as the Earth Evil Centipede. I wonder which of the two is stronger. Lin Moyu looked at the rapidly forming abyssal fire sprite, fighting spirit surging in his eyes. Even if it couldn't master a new skill, simply increasing his fire resistance made it a valuable treasure. Such a good thing was always welcome. Listening to their conversation, Zhang Hanshan and the others were deeply shaken. Zhang Hanshan couldn't help but ask, "Senior Officer Lin, did you kill the Earth Evil Centipede?" Lin Moyu answered, "No need to call me Senior Officer. You're a colonel now as well. I killed it a few days ago. It was a pretty decent boss." Lin Moyu meant that it dropped pretty decent items. Not only did he get leg meat, but he also acquired a new skill, which made dealing with the Crimson Moon Demon much easier. Zhang Hanshan was completely stunned, as if struck by lightning. To be able to kill the Earth Evil Centipede, this combat power was beyond his expectations. Zhang Hanshan couldn't help but ask, "Recently, 2 world rank bosses have been killed in a row. Was that you?" Lin Moyu nodded. The other one was the Soul Devour Insect Mother, which came out after the Soul Devour Insect King was killed. That was also a pretty decent boss, though it didn't provide any meat. Zhang Hanshan was at a loss for words. 2 world bosses. He had been adventuring here for years, yet he hadn't managed to kill a single one. If becoming a godly general was his dream as a military personnel, then killing a world boss was his dream as a knightly. At this moment, Lin Moyu became his idol. The abyssal fire sprite finally materialized completely. It was about 5 meters tall, engulfed in raging flames. It resembled a fire elemental sprite, but it was much purer. Having absorbed the life essence of Dragonkind, the abyssal fire sprite had Dragonkind-like features. The demons and Dragonkind that Lin Moyu hadn't killed were all burned to death in the succubus queen's sacrifice. The succubus queen's bewitching laughter echoed in the air. "My young friend Lin Moyu, please enjoy the hospitality I have provided you. If you can survive this time, I will invite you to my palace next time and treat you to my abyssal cuisine." Amid coquettish laughter, the succubus queen gradually faded away. The abyssal fire sprite awakened and let out a thunderous roar, and flames shot up into the sky, forming a massive fire barrier that enclosed Lin Moyu and the others. Chapter 249, Extremely Formidable Primordial Rune. In the unending conflict between humans and abyssal demons, there was no room for mercy. The abyssal fire sprite roared and charged toward Lin Moyu. According to the succubus queen's will, Lin Moyu was its greatest enemy and had to be eliminated. "Step back," Lin Moyu instructed Mo Yun, Zhang Hanshan, and the others, then resummoned the undead legions. Previously, when the succubus queen appeared and the abyssal fire surged, he had swiftly recalled the undead legions. The Lich generals reapplied the status buffs, and the skeletal warriors swiftly charged at the abyssal fire sprite. The attacks of the skeletal mages arrived before the skeletal warriors. The fire-type skeletal mages stayed aside. With the fire elemental immunity in place, their attacks would be useless. The abyssal fire sprite roared as it collided with the skeletons. With a loud bang, a large number of skeletal warriors were sent flying. In terms of sheer strength, the skeletal warriors were no match for the abyssal fire sprite. But their numbers were overwhelming. After knocking away a group of skeletal warriors, the abyssal fire sprite found itself surrounded. With each attack, the abyssal fire sprite could sweep away dozens of skeletal warriors. But there were just too many skeletal warriors, and new ones immediately filled the gaps. The abyssal fire sprite, still targeting Lin Moyu, leapt toward him, but the skeletal warriors jumped up to block it. The skeletal warriors dauntlessly protected Lin Moyu. While the battle raged, a detection spell was cast on the abyssal fire sprite. Abyssal fire sprite, level 60, strength 100,000, agility 80,000, spirit 150,000. Physique, 100,000. Skills, Sea of Fire, Burning Ring, Lava Eruption. Traits, Fire Element Immunity, 50% Dark Elemental Damage reduced by 50%, Curse Effect reduced by 50%, Physical Damage reduction by 50%. The Abyssal Fire Sprite's attributes reached a total of 430,000 points, only 10,000 less than the level 58 World Boss Earth Evil Centipede, and a full 130,000 more than the level 55 Lord Rank Crimson Moon Demon. At the same time, its series of traits betrayed the fact that it was a mixture of different creatures. Mo Yun was right. Compared to Lord Rank demons of the same level, it was indeed stronger. There were no corpses left around. If there had been dozens of corpses, it could have been easily annihilated. But now, it had to be ground down bit by bit. Zhang Hanshan saw the Abyssal Fire Sprite's attributes and felt a chill in his heart. With these attributes, it was far stronger than the bosses they had fought, which were typically between level 50 and 55, with a total attributes ranging between 250,000 and 300,000. They didn't even dare to touch Lord Rank bosses, as they were out of their league. Following Lin Moyu's instructions, they gradually to the edge of the barrier. In the sky, Succubus Alice smiled brightly. In her opinion, the Abyssal Fire Sprite was much more formidable than the Crimson Moon Demon, it had no weaknesses. Even though Lin Moyu was strong, he was only level 30. He was surely doomed. Skill. Burning Ring. Suddenly, the Abyssal Fire Sprite glowed all over, and a ring of light appeared at its feet. With a loud bang, the bone armor of everyone within the barrier, including Zhang Hanshan, lit up. Despite retreating to the edge of the barrier, they were still attacked. The burning ring continually inflicted fire damage to the nearby enemies. Judging by the bone armor, the damage was significant. The skeletons and Lich Generals were also affected. Fortunately, the Lich Generals had the Legion Heal skill, which was particularly effective against this kind of group attacks. Lin Moyu could ignore even the Earth Evil Centipede's deadly toxic fog, let alone this burning ring. It was quite weak in comparison. The Abyssal Fire Sprite, unable to break through the skeletal warrior's encirclement, roared repeatedly, and flames erupted violently. In an instant, the barrier turned into a sea of fire, causing continuous damage to those within. Another sustained group attack skill ensued. Subsequently, the ground shook and lava spewed out, transforming into molten rain that dropped across the barrier. Each of the three skills were sustained group attack skills. Individually, they didn't seem very powerful. But when combined, they dealt considerable damage. Lin Moyu quickly calculated. With its defensive power, the bone armor could only last for about 1 minute. After the minute was up, he would be fine, but Zhang Hanshan and the others, including Mo Yun, would require him to reapply the bone armor. Lin Moyu disliked troublesome things. He made up his mind, let's finish this within a minute. Skill. Enhance troops. Enhance troops. For 30 seconds, all basic attributes of the host and their summons are increased by 200%, and all attacks deal an additional 500% damage. Cooldown. 1 hour. The attributes of the skeletal warriors were greatly enhanced. The 4 attributes of the level 30 skeletal warriors were 40,000 points each. At this time, the attributes soared and reached an astonishing 120,000 points each. Coupled with the Lich General's status buff skill, each attribute exceeded 150,000. Their attack power was tripled, and with the additional 500% increase in damage, the damage each skeletal warrior could inflict was increased 15-fold within 30 seconds. The same applied to the skeletal mages and even Lin Moyu himself. Lin Moyu checked his spirit attribute. His spirit force had reached 57,000 points and, with the equipment, it totaled 60,000 points. Let's take it down in 30 seconds. The skeletal warriors unleashed their skill, while the skeletal mages unleashed a barrage of magic spells. Lin Moyu wasn't idle either. He cast Damage Curse and released Soul Blaze. Boom! Under this concentrated assault, the Abyssal Fire Sprite was instantly annihilated before it could even scream. Despite being stronger than a Lord Rank boss, it was killed in a single wave of attacks. Killed Abyssal Fire Sprite, XP+. Obtained Fire Gem. Staring at the notifications, Lin Moyu was momentarily stunned. The power was beyond his expectations. Zhang Hanshan and the others were shocked. A monster equivalent to a Lord Rank boss had been instantly killed. This was unbelievable. Succubus Alice's countenance changed. Curses, we forgot about the skill generated after fusing with the primordial rune. Witnessing the Abyssal Fire Sprite's demise left her deeply shaken, and her eyes filled with fear as she looked at Lin Moyu. Every time Lin Moyu faced a difficult situation, he always had a solution. The Earth Evil Centipede, the Crimson Moon Demon, and the Abyssal Fire Sprite all failed to take him down. And the most tragic part was that the Abyssal Fire Sprite had been killed in an instant instead. What a freak! Alice mused, desperate to escape. All of a sudden, white light shone, and Mo Yun riding her Holy Spirit unicorn rushed over. Alice shrieked and fled without a second thought, aware that Mo Yun also possessed a flight restriction skill. If she were to drop from the sky, she dreaded what Lin Moyu might do next. She didn't want to die. The Holy Spirit unicorn was incredibly fast, rapidly closing the distance. Realizing she was about to be caught, Alice steeled her heart and crushed the black stone in her hand. A spatial channel appeared before her, and she swiftly darted into it. She escaped. Lin Moyu sensed the abyss's aura from the spatial channel. Alice had escaped from the immemorial battlefield and fled into the abyssal world. The spatial channel closed rapidly. At the same time, the barrier shattered. The battle had come to an end. 30 seconds later, the white light rising from the skeletal warriors faded. For Lin Moyu, this skill was incredibly useful. Within the span of 30 seconds, he could unleash overwhelming combat power. Mo Yun flew back, she ran away. Lin Moyu made a sound and said, she ran back to the abyss. At this moment, figures appeared in the distance. A large number of human class users were rushing this way. Lin Moyu creased his eyebrows, let's go. Alright, Mo Yun agreed, as she also disliked interacting with too many people. The two quickly departed, moving at an incredible speed. They left Zhang Hanshan to handle the aftermath. Chapter 250, Divine Selection Secret Realm, Tripod Cauldron. The entrance to the Divine Selection Secret Realm, located between two giant stones, emitting a faint glow, was only 2 meters tall and wide. Against the backdrop of the immemorial battlefield's intertwining colors, it seemed quite inconspicuous. Without taking a closer look, this entrance could easily be overlooked. After Lin Moyu and Mo Yun arrived, they understood why Zhang Hanshan and company had noticed the entrance. Not far from the entrance, there was an area that showed signs of combat. The earth of the immemorial battlefield appeared to have the ability to repair itself. No matter how fierce the battle or how much damage was done to the land, it would all return to its original state after a period of time. There must have been a boss here. Zhang Hanshan and them likely discovered the Divine Selection Secret Realm while fighting the boss. They should have entered the Divine Selection Secret Realm before and won't be able to again. Luckily, no one else has been here in the past few days. Mo Yun quickly analyzed. Lin Moyu made an aha sound, let's go in. Mo Yun nodded, and the two stepped into the Divine Selection Secret Realm. Once they entered, the entrance began to distort and eventually disappeared like a bubble. Whenever someone entered the Divine Selection Secret Realm, the entrance would vanish, and then reappear elsewhere 2 days later. If no one entered, the entrance would stay in the same spot for 10 days before relocating. Lin Moyu and Mo Yun went through a lengthy teleportation, then each landed on different platforms about half a meter apart, separated by an invisible force. They could see and hear each other, but couldn't cross the platforms. Their vision was filled with a brilliant blue light, reminiscent of waves, crashing toward them. Then, the 2 blue paths formed before them, shooting straight up into the blue sky filled with white clouds. At the moment they stepped onto the platforms, all their equipment attributes were nullified. Lin Moyu's skeletons returned to the summoned space. He realized that here, they could only rely on themselves. No external force could be used. The same was true for Mo Yun, her Holy Spirit unicorn had also disappeared. However, the Bing primordial rune on the back of Lin Moyu's hand could still be used, seemingly unaffected by the Divine Selection Secret Realm's restrictions. Lin Moyu asked Mo Yun, how much do you know about the Divine Selection Secret Realm? Coming from a good family with access to extensive information, Mo Yun knew far more than ordinary people. She said in reply, the Divine Selection Secret Realm is very simple. The elders of the family left only one piece of advice: push forward with all your strength and never take a step back. Push forward with all your strength and never take a step back. Bai Yiyuan had said the same thing to him. If 100 people were to enter the Divine Selection Secret Realm, they might each face entirely different situations. Therefore, Bai Yiyuan's experience in the Divine Selection Secret Realm was of little reference to Lin Moyu. The only constant was to push forward with all your strength and never take a step back. This was the sole rule on the Divine Selection Secret Realm. Mo Yun broke into a smile, I'm going. With that, she stepped onto the blue path. At the same time, the platform behind her vanished, cutting off her path of retreat. Taking a step back would mean leaving the Divine Selection Secret Realm, and she would never be able to enter again. The only way was to forward. Lin Moyu took a deep breath and entered the in front of him path. Immediately after, a pressure fell on him, reaching his soul. The pressure was on the spirit level, and it seemed to be urging him, go back, go back. Lin Moyu dismissed the voice in his head with a thought. As a mage-type class user, Lin Moyu understood that his strength, agility, and physique were nothing much, especially when compared with warrior-type class users. Lin Moyu's only strong point was spirit, and in his path, the Divine Selection Secret Realm targeted this aspect. The pressure varied according to the level of the class user. Summoner was also classified as a mage-type class, and it boasted fairly high spirit, but the other attributes were weak. Moreover, Mo Yun was level 41, so she had to endure significantly more pressure than Lin Moyu. The pressure crashed down in waves. However, the seemingly immense pressure felt like a gentle breeze to Lin Moyu. Compared to Mo Yun, Lin Moyu was clearly much more relaxed. If it weren't for the soul crystals, which boosted by spirit force by a large fraction, I wouldn't feel so relaxed right now. Lin Moyu knew that the reason he felt so at ease was mainly due to the soul crystals, which had permanently raised his spirit force from 4,000 to 19,000, putting him far above level 30 mage-type class users. However, the pressure exerted by the Divine Selection Secret Realm on him was calibrated for a level 30 mage-type class user. As a result, Lin Moyu felt almost no pressure. The two paths were only a few meters apart, allowing Lin Moyu to roughly observe Mo Yun's situation through the blue curtain of light. Suddenly, Mo Yun stopped. She had just reached the halfway point. What is happening? With this question in mind, Lin Moyu continued forward until he too reached the halfway point. In his view, golden strands appeared, dancing in the thread-like path. At the same time, a set of steps appeared in the path. Lin Moyu stopped carefully and looked up. There were exactly 500 steps, and each step had golden strands dancing on it. Moreover, every 100 steps, the golden strands increased. Below the 101st step, there was one strand per step. Starting from the 101st, there were 2 strands per step. From the 201st step, there were 3 strands. From the 301st step, there were 4 strands. For the last 100 steps, there were 5 strands. From the golden strands, a unique, magical energy emanated. The golden strands were divinity energy. The first half of the passage was merely a most basic test, the true challenge started now. It is exactly as the teacher said. At least 100 strands of divinity energy are required to form a complete divinity. My goal is to gather at least 100 strands. If Lin Moyu could obtain a complete divinity, the probability of his class sublimating could be raised to 90%. Lin Moyu. Mo Yun's voice came from the other path. 100 strands of divinity energy can form a complete divinity. But that's just the lowest and weakest level of divinity. If you can obtain more divinity energy, the divinity will be strengthened. The stronger the divinity, the greater the benefits. Do you see that tripod cauldron up there? Lin Moyu looked up following Mo Yun's words and saw a large tripod cauldron, and he couldn't help but be stunned. The cauldron looked just like an ancient Chinese tripod cauldron. Coupled with the Bing rune he had obtained before, Lin Moyu felt compelled to go investigate. It's said that if you can reach the tripod cauldron, the probability of class sublimation during the third awakening will increase to 80%. Mo Yun had her aspirations. Otherwise, she wouldn't have wasted so much time looking for blackened soul crystal back then. Her aspiration was to sublimate her class once more during the third awakening and become a high-tier legendary class user. Thank you, I'll do my best. Lin Moyu responded. Mo Yun clenched her small fists, good luck. You too. Putting divinity and class sublimation aside, the mere presence of the tripod cauldron made Lin Moyu eager to go take a look. Lin Moyu looked up again. The large tripod cauldron at the top of the path gleamed with dazzling light, an immense amount of divinity energy swirling around it. Lin Moyu lifted his leg and stepped onto the first step. Boom! A loud rumble echoed in his ears, and the pressure intensified rapidly. The powerful force was like a tsunami, trying to push him back. Lin Moyu grunted softly and stood firmly, not budging an inch. The path behind him had disappeared, replaced by an exit. If he took a step back, he would leave through the exit. After he steadied himself, a strand of divinity energy drilled into his body and disappeared. When the divinity energy entered his body, Lin Moyu felt like he had gained something. However, looking at his attributes, there was no change. A single strand of divinity energy wasn't enough to cause any changes. Lin Moyu began ascending the steps, moving quickly and steadily, one step at a time. With his spirit attribute far surpassing that of a level 30 mage-type class user, this spirit pressure had no effect on him. Chapter 251. Divinity Force, what a freak. Strands of divinity energy drilled into Lin Moyu's body continuously. Despite this, there was no noticeable change in his properties. Lin Moyu knew of only two benefits of divinity. Firstly, the earlier it was obtained, the greater the benefits. Secondly, during class awakening, it could significantly increase the probability of class sublimation. Most class users only entered the immemorial battlefield after reaching level 45, and they could only adventure on its periphery. By the time they enter the Divine Selection Secret Realm, they were usually above level 50, and the amount of divinity energy they acquired wasn't great. Some couldn't even form a complete divinity. The majority of class users couldn't enjoy the benefits of divinity, let alone use divinity to increase the probability of class sublimation during the Second Awakening. By the time they were to undergo the Second Awakening, they might not even know where the Divine Selection Secret Realm was located on the immemorial battlefield. Like Lin Moyu, who entered the Divine Selection Secret Realm at level 30, there were only a handful in a millennium. In the blink of an eye, Lin Moyu had climbed 50 steps, acquiring 50 strands of divinity energy in his body. He finally felt something. Lin Moyu felt really comfortable, as if he were bathing in warm water. His fatigue was greatly reduced. The divinity energy was amazing, making Lin Moyu even more eager to see the changes a complete divinity would bring. At this time, Mo Yun had also reached the 50th step, her pace only slightly slower than Lin Moyu's. However, she wasn't as relaxed as him. By this time, sweat beaded on her forehead, showing she was under considerable pressure. Lin Moyu glanced at Mo Yun and gave her an encouraging look, and then continued climbing upward, one step at a time. After several minutes, he finally reached the 100th step, and the 100th strand of divinity energy drilled his body, triggering a thundering rumble in his mind. At the same time, crackling sounds rose throughout his body, as if all the joints in his body were unblocked, and an indescribable sense of comfort spread through him. At last, there was a change in his attributes. Lin Moyu noticed a new property, neither skill nor talent. It was a trait, and it wasn't influenced by comprehensive amplification talent. Divinity Force Level 1. All attributes increase by an extra 1% when leveling up. Restoration of Spirit Force increases by 100%, recovery of fatigue increases by 100%. The full term for divinity was Divinity Force. Looking at this property, Lin Moyu finally understood why the earlier one obtained divinity, the better, and why Bai Yiyuan wanted him to come early. An additional 1% increase in all attributes when leveling up, that was a formidable property. The impact of this 1% should not be underestimated. If one could gain 1% in attributes every time they leveled up, it would result in a staggering cumulative effect. Most people obtained divinity after level 50. Bai Yiyuan acquired divinity at level 41, and it wasn't the lowest level 1 divinity. As a result of this accumulation, his attributes were significantly higher than those of other class users of the same level, laying a foundation for his ascent to becoming a godly class user. After using the Soul Gem, Lin Moyu's restoration of spirit force was already increased 100-fold, equivalent to a 10,000% rate. With Divinity Force, the rate became 10,100%, or 101-fold. In this regard, Divinity Force had minimal additional impact. Reflecting on this, Lin Moyu realized he was being too greedy. Achieving such an effect was already unprecedented. He shouldn't ask for more. Now, I have to upgrade divinity and raise the level of Divinity Force. Lin Moyu looked up and looked at the steps, where a vast amount of divinity energy floated. These were the energy source of Divinity Force. At this moment, Mo Yun, slick with sweat, stepped onto the 100th step with difficulty. Divinity energy circulated in her body, significantly reducing her fatigue. A look of pure bliss washed over her face. It feels so good, Mo Yun murmured softly. All her efforts paid off. She finally obtained divinity at level 41, matching Bai Yiyuan's record. Mo Yun felt that she might get the chance to catch up with Bai Yiyuan and become someone who could stand shoulder to shoulder with him one day. She glanced at Lin Moyu and noticed he was standing in the same spot as her, but he seemed much more at ease. There's still this freak, Mo Yun chuckled. Neither she, Bai Yiyuan, nor any other human class user could compare to Lin Moyu. No one had ever entered the Divine Selection Secret Realm and obtained Divinity Force at level 30. Lin Moyu gave her an encouraging look before continuing his ascent. Watching his back and his relaxed pace, she muttered to herself, I really wonder how high this guy can reach. Her eyes sparkled with admiration. In her view, Lin Moyu was even more brilliant than Bai Yiyuan back in the day. Mo Yun gathered her focus and resumed her climb. From the 101st step onward, each step granted 2 strands of divinity energy, which quickly merged with the existing divinity force, making it grow rapidly. After only 5 steps, Lin Moyu had gained 10 strands of divinity energy, and his divinity force evolved. Divinity Force Level 2. All attributes increase by an extra 2% when leveling up, restoration of spirit force increases by 200%, recovery of fatigue increases by 200%. I wonder how much divinity energy teacher obtained and to what level he raised his divinity force back in the day. Lin Moyu mused as he continued upward, seemingly unperturbed by the mounting pressure. After another 10 steps, when he reached the 115th step and gained another 20 strands of divinity force, his divinity force was upgraded to level 3. As the level of divinity force rose, the requirement for divinity energy increased. Lin Moyu proceeded upward, concentrating fully on the task at hand. Mo Yun gritted her teeth and finally reached the 105th step. She took a deep breath. At last, my divinity force reached level 2. According to our family's records, upgrading divinity force to level 2 marks a top-tier genius. The highest record in our family is level 4. God Bai only reached level 5. I might surpass our family's record and reach God Bai's level. Mo Yun's face radiated confidence. She had come this far through her own ability, and she had yet to use her skill. Once she did, she believed she could climb much higher. I wonder how far Lin Moyu has gone. He should be ahead of me. Mo Yun looked at Lin Moyu's path, but he was nowhere in sight. Where was he? Did he leave the secret realm? Mo Yun felt her thoughts were laughable. Mo Yun quickly looked upward and barely made out a figure around the 200th step, still climbing effortlessly, looking relaxed and not the least bit tired. Mo Yun received a crushing blow to her confidence. What a freak. Being in the same era as you is such bad luck. She grumbled, gritted her teeth, and continued her climb. As if in a fit of pique, she quickened her pace, darting across several steps before slowing down to a steady rhythm. Meanwhile, Lin Moyu reached the 200th step. From the time he gained divinity force, he had obtained 200 strands of divinity force. His divinity force was finally upgraded to level 5. Divinity force level 5. All attributes increase by an extra 5% when leveling up. Restoration of spirit force increases by 500%, recovery of fatigue increases by 500%. Standing on the 200th step, Lin Moyu still did not feel much pressure. The soul crystals had proven exceptionally effective, boosting his spirit force from 4,000 to 19,000. Not to mention level 30, even level 40 mage-type class users couldn't match his spirit force. In simple terms, he was facing level 30 pressure with spirit force exceeding that of level 40, making it entirely natural for him to feel at ease. Chapter 252, Uncharted Territory, Shunzhou Cauldron. Starting from the 201st step, the pressure increased again, more than doubling compared to the 200th step. Lin Moyu felt that if it weren't for the soul crystals, he could only have reached the 200th step. But now, he continued to ascend, gaining 3 strands of divinity energy with each step. The higher the level of divinity force, the more divinity energy it required. This time, he continued all the way to the 250th step and gained a total of 150 strands of divinity energy before his divinity force was upgraded. Moving forward, the requirement would only grow higher. As he approached the 300th step, he suddenly felt a powerful aura from Mo Yun's path, putting her on par with a level 50 individual. Then, he saw a mass of light swiftly advancing along the path. Mo Yun, shrouded in light, climbed rapidly. So fast. Lin Moyu had seen Mo Yun use this skill before. At that time, the Holy Spirit Unicorn, enveloped in such light, moved as fast as lightning. Though he didn't know what exactly the skill Mo Yun used was, but he knew that at this moment she was ignoring the pressure, advancing forward swiftly. Awesome, Lin Moyu remarked involuntarily. Every class had its unique characteristics. In particular, for a mid-tier legendary class user like Mo Yun, she must have her own exceptional abilities. In just 30 seconds, Mo Yun had crossed under 100 steps and reached the 200th step. When she reached the 200th step, the skill's light disappeared, and she collapsed on the step. The pressure at the 200th step was immense. Mo Yun could barely sit there, finding moving at all a challenge. But her face was beaming with a smile. She had broken her family's record, raising her divinity force to level 5 at level 41, matching Bai Yiyuan's achievement. This was a proud feat for the entire human race. Of course, she couldn't compare to a certain freak. Mo Yun lifted her head with difficulty and saw Lin Moyu standing at the 300th step, giving her a thumbs up. Thumbs up my foot. Mo Yun couldn't help but curse in her heart. Was this a compliment? It felt more like a blow to her ego. Suffering another strike to her ego, Mo Yun sighed in her heart, forget it, I can't compare to this guy, otherwise, my self-esteem will crumble. She had reached her limit with her skill to get here, not wasting even a fraction of the 30 seconds. Lin Moyu realized that Mo Yun was at her limit, then turned and continued his forward. The pressure increased again, and he finally felt a little pressure, but that was all. With pressure came motivation, and he climbed more vigorously than before. The pressure grew greater, like a heavy mountain pressing down on him. With each step he took, 4 strands of divinity energy drilled into his body. At the 310th step, his divinity force rose to level 6. At the 370th step, it reached level 7. Starting from the 401st step, the pressure increased sharply again. Compared to the 400th step, a difference in 1 step materialized into 3 times the pressure. Lin Moyu felt that no mage-type class user could reach this point unless they had also absorbed soul crystals. Recalling Bai Yiyuan's words, Lin Moyu gritted his teeth and pushed forward and continued to climb. 410, 420, 450. Finally, he reached the 490th step, and his divinity force rose to level 9. He was only 10 steps away from the tripod cauldron. At this time, he was drenched in sweat, panting heavily. The terrifying spirit pressure bore down on him, making it difficult for him to straighten up or lift his head. It was as if an invisible giant hand was pressing down on him, making it hard to move. The pressure here is unbearable, not just for level 30 class users, but even for level 40 or 45 class users. Lin Moyu mused. The last 10 steps felt like an unsurmountable chasm. From this vantage point, he could see a large amount of divinity energy swirling above the tripod cauldron, glittering golden, numbering in the tens of thousands. Lin Moyu couldn't help but wonder. If he could cross the last 10 steps and absorb the divinity energy above the cauldron, what level would his divinity force reach? However, the pressure had become overwhelming. Even with Lin Moyu's spirit force, it was difficult to take another step forward. Have I reached my limit? Lin Moyu thought to himself. Refusing to give up, he gritted his teeth and lifted his foot with great effort, taking another step. Boom! The invisible pressure struck Lin Moyu like a massive fist, causing his ears to ring and head to ache, his mind on the verge of collapse. Lin Moyu groaned, swaying left and right, looking like he was to fall backward. But in the end, he managed to hold on. His right foot was now on the 491st step, while his left foot remained on the 490th step, unable to lift it. He realized that if his left foot left the step, he would fall backward and be ejected from the secret realm. There's no other way, Lin Moyu muttered to himself, then the Bing character on the back of his hand glowed brightly and ejected out brilliant light that exploded in the air. All his attributes surged, and his spirit force broke through multiple restrictions, instantly reaching 57,000 points. The overwhelming pressure vanished without a trace, making him feel like the time he just entered the Divine Selection secret realm, light and unburdened. Lin Moyu lifted his left foot and steadily placed it on the 491st step, then climbed effortlessly to the 500th step, the end of the path, where the tripod cauldron stood, a place where no one had set foot for countless years. The divinity energy fluttering above the cauldron rushed toward Lin Moyu and frantically drilled into his body, and the level of his divinity force rose rapidly, level 10, 11, 12, and so on. Mesmerized by the tripod cauldron, Lin Moyu moved closer and saw the characters engraved on its surface, his whole body trembling with excitement. Chinese characters, they are really Chinese characters. There were 3 large characters engraved on the cauldron, Xianzhou Ding Shenzhou Cauldron. Shenzhou 1, that was a familiar term. Lin Moyu was almost certain that the Shenzhou Cauldron before his eyes, including the primordial rune, must be connected to the world he had come from before his transmigration. Lin Moyu looked inside the Shenzhou Cauldron, which contained a massive amount of divinity energy emanating dazzling golden light. This divinity energy was not in the wispy strand form but had condensed into liquefied form. The divinity energy floating outside was merely a negligible fraction that had spilled out of the cauldron. With the divinity energy inside the cauldron, Lin Moyu wondered what level his divinity force would reach. But reality was cruel. He couldn't touch the divinity energy, as an invisible force obstructed him. When Lin Moyu touched the Shunzhou cauldron, it suddenly began to vibrate violently. The entire divine selection secret realm shook as well. Mo Yun, still seated on the 200th step, looked up abruptly, her face filled with astonishment. What is happening? The entire realm shook violently, as if it were about to collapse. At this moment, Lin Moyu could see nothing but golden light. The Shunzhou cauldron emitted brilliant golden light, overshadowing everything else. As the tremors grew in intensity, Lin Moyu clung to the Shunzhou cauldron. Boom! Following a deafening blare, Lin Moyu let out a muffled groan, unable to hear anything over the blare. He was struck with a heavy force and lost consciousness instantly. When he regained consciousness, Lin Moyu was back on the immemorial battlefield. The surroundings were quiet, and the immemorial battlefield's light was unchanged. The two towering rocks still stood tall. Mo Yun lay nearby. Lin Moyu checked on her and found she was fine, merely unconscious. After making sure she was fine, Lin Moyu began to examine himself. In the next moment, he let out a startled cry in a rare loss of composure. 1. Shunzhou, Xianzhou, old name for China. Chapter 253, Divine Selection Secret Realms Foundation uprooted. Lin Moyu stared at his properties for a long time, speechless. Name: Lin Moyu. Class: Necromancer, unique. Level: 3092.00%. Title: Dragonkin Slayer, all attributes plus 500, reduces the consumption of all skills by 50%. Strength: 1000 plus 3000. Agility: 1000 plus 3000. Spirit: 19000 plus 3000. Spirit: 1000 plus 3000. Trait: Divinity Force, level 30. Special item: Shunzhou Cauldron, unavailable. Divinity Force, level 30, all attributes increase by an additional 30% when leveling up. Spirit Force Restoration increases by 3000%, and Fatigue Recovery increases by 3000%. Poison Star Ring, level 3, creates a 3-meter radius area that deals 30 poison damage per second for 3 seconds. Enhance Troops. For 30 seconds, all basic attributes of the host and their summons are increased by 200%, and all attacks deal an additional 500% damage. Cooldown: 1 hour. The original properties remained largely unchanged, but now there was a new property, trait: Divinity Force, level 30. The Divinity Force had actually reached level 30. Lin Moyu recalled that after reaching the end of the path, a large amount of divinity energy had poured into him. At that time, he was distracted by the Shunzhou cauldron and hadn't paid much attention to the divinity energy or divinity force. Unexpectedly, the divinity force had already reached level 30. The level 30 divinity force provided 3 features, each exceptionally powerful. Particularly notable was the first feature, the 30% extra increase to all attributes when leveling up. While others might gain 1000 points in attributes per level, he would gain 1300. Over time, as the level increased, the gap would widen. Moreover, Lin Moyu believed that level 30 was far from the end. The divinity force was capped at level 30 because of his level. Recalling how Bai Yiyuan's divinity force had only been level 5 back then, Lin Moyu felt as if he were dreaming. However, this was not the source of his astonishment. Given his character, he wasn't shocked by this alone. The real shock came from the Shunzhou cauldron, which had become his. Although he couldn't use it yet, but it was really in his possession. Does this mean that the Divine Selection Secret Realm won't appear again in the future? The Shunzhou Cauldron seemed to be the Divine Selection Secret Realm's foundation, and now that the Shunzhou Cauldron was in his possession, Lin Moyu felt as if he had uprooted the Divine Selection Secret Realm's foundation. There was a 99% chance that the Divine Selection Secret Realm won't appear again in the future. But so what? If given a choice, Lin Moyu would still choose to take the Shunzhou Cauldron. Both the Shunzhou Cauldron and the Bing character seemed to be connected to his previous world. Lin Moyu was eager to unravel the mysteries behind them and understand what was really going on. The Poison Star Ring skill needed further grinding. But with the Divinity Force, his restoration of Spirit Force had reached 130 times, making skill grinding seem not too difficult. With a soft moan, Mo Yun awoke. Her eyes quickly turned wary. But when she saw Lin Moyu sitting nearby, she relaxed. What happened just now? Mo Yun asked, holding her throbbing head. The intense mental pressure had left her with lingering side effects. Lin Moyu said in reply, I reached the top of the steps, and then the secret realm collapsed. Mo Yun's expression darkened. You reached the top of the steps. Lin Moyu nodded back. Then your divinity force. Level 30. Lin Moyu answered nonchalantly, nearly causing Mo Yun to faint again from shock. Mo Yun completely lost her usual composure and exclaimed, how is that possible? That's impossible. Lin Moyu looked at her silently. Was there a need for such an exaggerated reaction? If she learned he had uprooted the Divine Selection Secret Realm's foundation, wouldn't she flip out? Lin Moyu didn't plan to tell anyone about this. Until he solved the mystery, he didn't intend to even tell Bai Yiyuan and Lin Mohan. Otherwise, he wouldn't know how to explain his identity or why he recognized the Shunzhou Cauldron and the Bing character. In their eyes, these characters were just mysterious runes. Seeing Lin Moyu's calm demeanor, Mo Yun had no choice but to accept it. She uttered, her lips twitching, you're just a freak. Lin Moyu chuckled, feel free to think whatever you want. The crimson light rising into the sky finally disappeared, indicating the end of the 10-day period, and the primordial rune began the final stage of its final fusion with Mo Yun. Mo Yun was enveloped in a red glow, and a rune appeared on the back of her left hand. Lin Moyu took a look and immediately recognized it as the Qian 1 character. Mo Yun, however, didn't recognize it. She only knew that it was a primordial rune and was extremely mysterious. What's its skill? Lin Moyu asked. Mo Yun didn't hide it. The skill is called Unstoppable. For 1 minute, it increases speed tenfold, grants immunity to all damage, and ignores all obstacles, including barriers and secret realms. The cooldown is 10 minutes. After listening to the explanation, Lin Moyu pondered for a moment. It's a very powerful skill. Mo Yun also understood the skill's characteristics. Yes, it's amazing. Primordial rune skills are amazing. This skill could be used for both escape and offense. Mo Yun's Holy Spirit Unicorn was already fast, and with this skill, it would be like pouring oil on the fire. Not to mention, if used to ram into enemies, the damage inflicted by using this skill would be considerable. Furthermore, the skill's cooldown was short, only 10 minutes, allowing for more tactical options. The greatest strength of the human race lied in their ability to combine skills to create diverse tactics, significantly boosting combat power. Unlike the Dragonkind, who were more simple-minded and only knew how to charge in recklessly. Mo Yun summoned her Holy Spirit Unicorn and jumped onto its back. I really appreciate your help for the past few days. I think it's time for me to leave. Where are you planning to go? Lin Moyu wasn't surprised. Mo Yun dreamed of becoming a being like God Bai, and to achieve that, she needed to gain experience and face different unexpected situations alone to grow. She couldn't just stay with Lin Moyu under his protection, as that wouldn't be beneficial for her development. Mo Yun looked toward the central area. I'll be leaving the central area. It's too dangerous here for me. If she hadn't been chased, she wouldn't have entered the central area, and she wouldn't have encountered Lin Moyu. However, meeting him had been a great gain for her, allowing her to enter the Divine Selection Secret Realm early and tie with Bai Yiyuan's record. Lin Moyu nodded, then stay safe. If you encounter the demonic Dragon Hall dungeon, remember to inform me. Lin Moyu had the point teleportation stone Mo Yun gave him and could come to her at a moment's notice. Okay, I'll keep it in mind. With that, Mo Yun released a light shout, and the Holy Spirit Unicorn sped into the horizon in a streak of white light. Lin Moyu got up and stretched himself. It's time to raise my level. He had restrained his leveling, intending to enter the Divine Selection Secret Realm at level 30 and gain divinity force. When he was level 30, 92%, he finally achieved it. Now he could let loose and focus on leveling. Lin Moyu willed, and 4 undead legions appeared. Go! Lin Moyu's gaze turned to the upper layer's core area, and the undead legions were immediately fully buffed, and then headed toward the core area. The closer one got to the core area, the more monsters there were, and the higher their level. In the present area, the level of the monsters generally ranged between level 55 and 60. The undead legions split into 4 groups and pushed through without regard for monsters, type or level. They obliterated everything in their path. Lin Moyu followed behind, reaping express continuously. At the same time, he released Poison Star Ring again and again, to grind his skill, wasting no time. Although it wasn't as efficient as in a dungeon, but it was much more relaxed. Lin Moyu only needed to give an order, and the rest was taken care of. This kind of leveling incredibly easy. 1 Qian means front, forward, ahead, etc. Chapter 254. Divine Force can be upgraded. The immemorial battlefield's upper layer was divided into 3 regions: the outskirts, the central area, and the core area. Monsters in the outskirts were below level 50, while monsters in the central area range from levels 50 and 60. Once monsters above level 60 appeared, it meant one had entered the core area. To Lin Moyu's surprise, of the 3 regions, the core area was the largest, and it contained monsters ranging between levels 60 and 68. Monsters above level 60 were significantly stronger than those at level 59, and they often possess unique abilities. Over the years, the core area had been gradually expanding. Some people have predicted that perhaps after millions of years, the entire upper layer would become the core area with no monsters below level 60. This transformation was attributed to the light that emanated from the core area, which served as the energy source for the entire immemorial battlefield. The monsters, bosses, and even many secret realms, dungeons, and treasures on the immemorial battlefield originated from this light. As he was immersed in his thoughts, Lin Moyu saw a shooting star fall from the sky and fly into the distance. Such a shooting star could signify a treasure, a boss, or even a secret realm or a dungeon. Anything was possible. That was precisely there was such a saying. Lin Moyu continued to use Poison Star Ring. At the same time, the sounds of explosions rose continuously. Lin Moyu used corpse explosion on the monster corpses he encountered, not missing a single opportunity. Both the Poison Star Ring and corpse explosion were being ground. When his spirit force was about half depleted, the Poison Star Ring leveled up. At this moment, a white light radiated from Lin Moyu as he finally reached level 31. Except Corpse Explosion and Poison Star Ring, all other skills reached level 31. Suddenly, Lin Moyu felt a warmth flowing into his body from the Shunzhou Cauldron, divine energy. He quickly checked his properties and found that his divinity force had also reached level 31. Divinity force level 31, all attributes increase by an additional 31% when leveling up. Spirit force restoration increases by 3,100%, and fatigue recovery increases by 3,100%. After he leveled up, the Shunzhou Cauldron had released some divine energy, propelling his divinity force to level 31. This showed that the level of his divinity force would rise as he leveled up. Lin Moyu couldn't help but feel like he was turning into a freak. If this trend continued, who knew how high his attributes would become in the future? He then looked at his attributes again and couldn't help but chuckle. Strength, 1130 plus 3000. Agility, 1130 plus 3000. Spirit, 19,650 plus 3000. Physique, 1130 plus 3000. Before the level up, except for spirit, his other 3 attributes were all at 1000 points. Starting from level 30 onwards, each level up should raise the 3 attributes by 100 points. However, with divinity force, an additional 30% was added, so the attributes increased by 130 points. At the next level up, the attributes would increase by an additional 31%. The same applied to the spirit attribute, which starting from level 30 should be raised by 500 points, but was raised by 650 points instead. Next time, it would be raised by 655 points, representing a 5-point increase. Just then, another shooting star fell from the sky. Lin Moyu startled. This shooting star seemed to be closer to him, at most 1,000 kilometers away, located in the direction Lin Moyu was headed to begin with. I wonder what it is. With this thought in mind, Lin Moyu darted out. If an opportunity presented itself, he had to seize it. According to Bai Yiyuan, there were many opportunities on the immemorial battlefield, but they had to be taken by force. If there was an opportunity, go for it. If there wasn't one, make one yourself, don't hold back. This was the philosophy of all godly powerhouses. As Lin Moyu headed toward the spot where the shooting star had fallen, there were others rushing toward it from other directions. Along the way, Lin Moyu summoned a new Lich General and then assigned all the skeletons from his summon space to it. He then proceeded to summon skeletons to fill the slots in the summon space. A level 31 Lich General could command 310 skeletons, and Lin Moyu was still short by 110 skeletons. This time, he chose skeletal mages, each of which required 1,600 points of spirit force to be summoned. With his spirit force, Lin Moyu could only summon 14 skeletal mages at one go. However, due to safety reasons, he decided to summon 7 skeletal mages at a time and then wait for his spirit force to recover before summoning more. Fortunately, his restoration of spirit force was extremely fast, 131 times. The undead legions cleared the monsters along their way, but their advance wasn't fast. It took them 2 full days to cover the distance of 1,000 kilometers. After these 2 days, the 11 undead legions were at full capacity, though the 310 slots in Lin Moyu's summon space were yet to be filled. Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry, taking his time. It should be nearby. When the shooting star fell, it left peculiar aura left behind. Lin Moyu just had to follow the aura. At this time, he found many monster corpses strewn about, indicating that someone had arrived before him. He quickly recalled the undead legions and sent out a few skeletons in different directions. After reaching level 30, the range within which he could control his skeletons had significantly increased, expanding to 5 kilometers. The skeletal warriors, with their agility of 44,000 points, moved at an astonishing speed and could easily evade or outrun most monsters if needed. Through the reconnaissance of the skeletal warriors, Lin Moyu found that all the monsters in a particular direction had been wiped out. Someone got these first. Without hesitation, Lin Moyu recalled the skeletons and hurried in that direction. After traveling for another half a day, he sensed energy fluctuations. There's a battle. Humans and demons. Lin Moyu hastened his pace, rushing toward the source of the energy fluctuations. A group of demons was attacking a party of human class users. The demons were all around level 60, while the levels of the human class users were low or weaker, though still above level 50. There were 13 demons and only 6 human class users. The human class users were outmatched in both strength and numbers. Despite this, by relying on strong teamwork, superior tactics, and excellent equipment, the human party was holding their ground. Hold on a little longer, the dungeon is about to take shape. Once it does, we'll enter it right away. The leading knight shouted in encouragement, his voice full of energy and confidence. A demon shouted in reply, his voice filled with bloodlust, he. You won't be able to enter the dungeon. And even if you do, you'll die when you come out. Delicious human flesh, you can't escape. Lin Moyu heard the knight shout from a distance and saw the demons. Then, his eyes narrowed sharply. A sword radiating a holy aura appeared in his view. The sword flashed with holy light, illuminating the surroundings at the same time. A sword projection appeared above the head of every human class user. The white light contained a holy energy that forced the demons to scatter abruptly. Abyssal demons detested holy power the most, it was their nemesis. Lin Moyu recognized the skill instantly, it was Lin Mohan's. He saw her among the human party, appearing like a delicate flower about to bloom. At this moment, she gracefully wielded her 2 swords and moved with fluid elegance, as if performing a mesmerizing dance while unleashing her skill. Subsequently, another sword projection appeared, and sword light spilled out in all direction, rendering the nearby abyssal demons momentarily dazed. It was a control skill, a crowd control skill at that. The knight immediately led the party to break through the encirclement and retreat toward a dungeon vortex that seemed on the verge of fully forming. They just needed to hold out a little longer. However, the demons that were restrained emitted formidable auras, quickly breaking free from the skill's effect, foiling the knight's attempt to get close to the dungeon vortex. Lin Moyu observed that although the knight could still hold the line, but he wouldn't last much longer. He might not be able to hold out until the dungeon was fully formed. Even if he did, there was no guarantee they could enter the dungeon. And if they did manage to enter, what would they do once they emerged from the dungeon? Sister, Lin Moyu called out and ran over. Lin Mohan heard his voice, and her expression changed suddenly. Chapter 255, There's no need to leave, let's just kill these demons. Lin Mohan's expression changed, and she uttered, her voice filled with urgency, Moyu. The demons also spotted Lin Moyu and jeered. Ha ha ha, a level 31 small fry has actually come here. He must be tired of living. Don't you humans have anyone else? You even sent some like this here. Several demons grinned wickedly and charged at Lin Moyu. Oh no, Lin Mohan's heart raced, she let out a cry, and brilliant light burst out from her. She twisted her body gracefully, and 2 shining swords appeared above her head. The swords quickly multiplies, filling the air with countless swords in less than half a second, and shocking sword energy tore through the air. Skill, sword flurry. Lin Mohan was hovering half a meter above the ground, her eyes filled with murderous intent as she brandished her swords gently. With a droning sound, the multitude of swords swept forward like a dragon, and then caught up with the demons charging at Lin Moyu. The sounds of impact and screams ensued. The several demons were knocked away by the multitude of swords, their bodies riddled with wounds. The sword dragon turned, forcing the surrounding demons to retreat. At this time, Lin Mohan, treading on air, rushed toward Lin Moyu. The leading knight made a quick decision and ordered the party to break through from the encirclement alongside Lin Mohan. From the way they addressed each other, one could guess the relationship between the two. Even a fool could see how important Lin Moyu was to Lin Mohan, given that she unleashed such a powerful skill for his sake. The knight had no choice but to follow Lin Mohan. The human party quickly reached Lin Moyu, with the knight, mage, and warrior positioning themselves around him. Lin Mohan asked anxiously, "Moyu, why did you come here?" Lin Moyu replied, "Teacher sent me to the immemorial battlefield to gain experience." The knight said flatly, "Your teacher is quite bold. Sending the level 31 you to the immemorial battlefield, doesn't he care if you live or die?" His expression was grim. They were now far from the dungeon's entrance, and their plan had been completely disrupted. Lin Mohan's skill had a long cooldown. It was supposed to be used when the dungeon fully formed. Now, with the skill on cooldown, they were in trouble. The expressions of Lin Mohan's teammates were unsightly. However, no one blamed Lin Moyu. Their expressions were unsightly because their plan had been disrupted, meaning they might not make it into the dungeon. But this dungeon was of great importance to them. Lin Moyu asked, paying no attention to the knight, "Sister, are you trying to enter this dungeon?" Lin Mohan nodded, a shade of reluctance on her eyes, "We are. But it's going to be very difficult now." At this time, the dungeon's entrance was held by several abyssal demons. Now that the swords flying in the air disappeared, the repelled demons surrounded them once more. Although it seemed impossible to enter the dungeon now, but Lin Mohan had no regrets. Lin Moyu's life was much more important than the dungeon to her. The knight said solemnly, "Let's break through first. We can talk about the dungeon later." The others looked reluctant yet had no choice. Lin Moyu's sudden appearance had thrown their plan into disarray, and now the priority was not the dungeon, but to retreat with Lin Moyu unharmed. Lin Mohan handed a teleportation stone to Lin Moyu and said softly, "If we fail to break through, activate this teleportation stone, and it will send you to a safe location." The countenance of Lin Mohan's teammates shifted. They each had one such teleportation stone prepared as a last resort. Lin Moyu declined, "There's no need." Lin Mohan insisted anxiously, "Don't worry about me, I still have teleportation talismans. I'll be fine." Lin Moyu replied calmly, "Sister, I meant there's no need to leave, let's just kill these demons." The others looked at Lin Moyu in astonishment. Where did a level 31 small fry get the audacity to say such arrogant words? Upon hearing Lin Moyu's words, demons let out mocking laughs. "Brat, are you not fully awake yet?" Lin Moyu paid them no mind, "Sister, add me to the party, so I don't accidentally harm you guys." Unlike the others, Lin Mohan believed in Lin Moyu and immediately added him to the party. With a droning sound, a red light spread across the sky. Skill, slow curse. The demons, laughter ceased abruptly, each dumbfounded. Suddenly, the world darkened, and a cold wind broke out. 2 lich generals appeared with their undead legions, and over 600 skeletal warriors charged forward, their bones clattering. The skeletons quickly pulled down the stunned abyssal demons. One demon tried to escape by flying upwards, but fire flashed in Lin Moyu's palm. Suddenly, the world darkened, and a cold wind broke out. 2 lich generals appeared with their undead legions in front of everyone. 600 skeletons charged forward, their bones clattering. Skeletal warriors quickly pulled down the stunned abyssal demons. A demon tried to escape by flying upward, but then fire flashed in Lin Moyu's palm. Skill, soul blaze. The demon plummeted from the sky with a tragic shriek. At this time, the skeletal warriors unleashed their skill, and the skeletal mages' attacks rained down with overwhelming force. At this time, red light shone again, and the slow curse was replaced with the damage curse. The level 60 abyssal demons were stunned by the sudden powerful assault. Death came swiftly, accompanied by one scream after another. In the blink of an eye, 8 demons were killed. Lin Mohan stood there stunned, her 2 swords dropping to the ground. Her teammates, top geniuses of the Shajing Academy, Chuangshan Institute, and Shengxia Empire, were stupefied by the scene before their eyes. The level 31 skeletal warriors took down the level 60 demons as easily as chopping vegetables. Their large blades glowed with red light and sliced down, severing wings and bones. The demons were first wounded by the skeletal warriors, then bombarded by the skeletal mages' skills. They were frozen, burned, and struck by lightning. They endured unimaginable torment. Is this really something a level 31 class user can do? Are you freaking kidding me? Am I dreaming or something? Lin Mohan is already a freak, but her brother is even more of a freak. What sort of family is this? Is there no one normal in their family? Lin Mohan's teammates exchanged glances, unable to hide their shock. At the dungeon's entrance, the remaining 4 demons were struck dumb. What on earth had happened? Did they hear the screams of their companions? There were too many skeletons, blocking their view. What were the skeletons before their eyes? Were they really summoned by the level 31 human that just arrived? But how was that possible? Questions arose one after another. The demons wanted to fly over to check. But just then, a corpse was flung toward them. Instinctively, one of the demons caught the corpse, only for it to explode with a deafening boom with a deafening blare. The remaining 4 demons were instantly obliterated without a chance to react. Lin Moyu slowly lowered his hand and dismissed the undead legions. Sister, it's all sorted out. For him, killing a few demons was easy. It was no big deal. Lin Mohan snapped out of her shock, then put away her swords and gave him a thumbs up. Great job, Moyu. With the demons dead, the battle was over. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief and relaxed. Lin Mohan introduced Lin Moyu to her party. This is Ji Yu Changfeng, and then there's Meng Zan, Heng Si, they are my seniors. Due to the party system, Lin Moyu already knew their names. Ji Yu Changfeng Lin Mohan mentioned was the party leader, level 52, legendary rank class, Sacred Sword Knight. Legendary rank class was extremely powerful. If it weren't for the large level gap, the demons would be no match for him. The others were also around level 50, at least superior class. There was also a Bloodshot, a legendary rank class user. In the Chuangshan Institute, legendary rank class users were not uncommon. After all, the institute gathered the elites of the entire Shengxia Empire. Its strength could be well imagined. Ji Yu Changfeng didn't dare to show any hint of contempt. Even though he was a legendary rank class user, but he still fell short compared to Lin Moyu. Thank you. He sincerely expressed sincere gratitude to Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu waved his hand dismissively. Killing demons is the responsibility of all humans. Lin Moyu was neither arrogant nor overly humble. His composed demeanor earned the respect of many people. Everyone respected strength, and they were no exception, especially with Lin Mohan present. In the party system, Lin Moyu noticed his sister's level, Sacred Sword Dancer, level 51. Lin Mohan had leveled up incredibly fast. During the class user competition, she was below level 45. But after a short time had passed, she had reached level 51. Lin Moyu couldn't help but admire her leveling speed. Chapter 256. Now it's my turn to guard the entrance. The dungeon was taking shape, and everyone rested before it. Lin Moyu and Lin Mohan sat side by side. Sister, why do you all want to enter this dungeon? Lin Moyu asked. Lin Mohan replied, Teacher calculated that a primordial rune would descend together with a shooting star. Lin Moyu was astonished, could such a thing really be calculated? As they spoke, Lin Mohan took out a disc-like object. It had a needle pointing toward the dungeon at all times. This is the treasure teacher used for the calculation. Lin Mohan explained. Lin Moyu's eyes narrowed slightly. He recognized this thing. He had seen something similar in a museum in his past life, a Bagua compass. The thing in Lin Mohan's hand was shockingly a Bagua compass, covered in densely packed ancient characters. Some of the characters were identical to Chinese characters Lin Moyu was familiar with, while others were different and more complex. The entire compass exuded an ancient aura. It was clearly an old artifact. Lin Mohan, failing to noticing Lin Moyu's expression, continued softly, this treasure is remarkable. Teacher can calculate many things with it. This time, teacher determined the location of a primordial rune, right here. The primordial rune fell together with the shooting star and eventually turned into the dungeon. To obtain the primordial rune, one had to enter the dungeon. Lin Moyu asked, there's only one primordial rune. Lin Mohan smiled gently and uttered, the primordial rune is meant for me. The seniors are just accompanying me. Lin Moyu nodded. After obtaining the primordial rune, there is a 10-day fusion period, which will be quite perilous. During the 10-day fusion period, one could not leave the immemorial battlefield, and had to face pressure from abyssal demons and Dragonkand. Lin Mohan put away the Bagua compass, and a smile appeared on her face, don't worry. Teacher has made extensive preparations. Once I obtain the primordial rune, I can complete the fusion within 2 days. At that time, we'll be teleported to the edge of the immemorial battlefield, where there won't be any danger. Lin Moyu hummed in agreement. He could imagine that Lin Mohan's teacher must be a godly powerhouse, at least on par with Bai Yiyuan. Being able to predict the primordial rune's location was a terrific feat. Suddenly, a whirlwind arose together with a gentle sound. Light was drawn into the dungeon vortex, forming bands of light visible for hundreds of kilometers. The dungeon's formation was quite a spectacle, likely related to the primordial rune. Other dungeons didn't cause such a commotion. Ji Yu Chengfeng approached, a serious expression on his face. The disturbance is much larger than expected. It will attract a lot of attention, including both abyssal demons and Dragonkind. If the dungeon indeed contained a primordial rune, the first party to clear it would likely obtain it. Of course, if they were unlucky, it might require several attempts. If someone else cleared the dungeon first or was lucky enough, their plans would go up in smoke. Lin Mohan's voice grew firm, exuding a heroic spirit. No matter what, have the initiative. Let's enter the dungeon now. Moyu, you should leave quickly. A bunch of abyssal demons and Dragonkind might arrive in a while. Lin Moyu nodded. Sister, you go in first. Lin Mohan made a sound of assent and said, take care of yourself. After saying that, she and her teammates quickly entered the dungeon. Lin Moyu sensed the dungeon, Bloody Source Dungeon. There was no difficulty rank to choose from, and like the other dungeons on the immemorial battlefield, there was no level requirement, anyone could enter. Of course, it was at their own risk. Don't worry, the primordial rune will be yours. With me here, no one can disturb you. Lin Moyu said softly, guarding at the dungeon entrance instead of leaving. 2 undead legions appeared, and skeletons surrounded the dungeon entrance. Lin Moyu smiled wryly. Once, it was the Dynasty Guild that blocked a dungeon entrance, and now unexpectedly a day had come when he was doing the same. Sure enough, after a while, a party of Dragonkind class users flew over. From afar, they spotted the dungeon entrance. The bands of light could still be seen flowing into the dungeon. The light was the power source of the immemorial battlefield. Such an anomaly indicated that this dungeon was unusual. However, seeing the crowd of skeletons on the ground, the Dragonkind class users felt a bit apprehensive. There were just too many of them. What's there to be afraid of? They're just level 31. Their attributes are pitifully low. I could wipe out a bunch of these skeletons with just one skill. Then give it a try. A Dragonkind mage raised his stave and cast a magic spell. Skill: Skyfire Meteor. A massive meteor smashed down from the sky. The skeletons scattered quickly, dodging the attack as the meteor crashed into the ground, missing them entirely, leaving the dungeon entrance empty. Ha ha, see, these skeletons are useless, they all ran away. Then let's enter the dungeon. More people will likely show up soon. A Dragonkind knight led the party toward the dungeon. At that moment, Lin Moyu walked over from the side and calmly stood at the dungeon entrance. Seeing Lin Moyu, the Dragonkind knight laughed loudly. A level 31 human small fry dares to stand in front of us. Courting death. Well, before entering the dungeon, we might as well kill a human. These skeletons must be yours, right? They look impressive but are useless. What's the point of having so many if they aren't strong enough? Lin Moyu muttered to himself. Why did Dragonkind talk so much nonsense? The Dragonkind knight activated a standard knight skill. Skill: Charge. His speed suddenly increased, and he slammed into Lin Moyu. With his level 56 attributes, coupled with the charge skill's effect, the impact would be tremendous. He believed Lin Moyu would be smashed into pieces. He already prepared to relish the sight of blood and gore. Bang! Amidst the deafening noise of the collision, the Dragonkind knight was knocked back even faster than he was charging. Lin Moyu's bone armor barely flickered and remained completely still, showing that the attack was really weak. When the knight was flung back, the expression of the other Dragonkind class users changed drastically, and they hit the brakes. But it was too late. A red light flashed, and the slow curse descended. The scattered skeletons dashed back, leapt dozens of meters into the air, and dragged them down from the sky. If you don't come down, I really can't do anything to you. Lin Moyu said softly. The Dragonkind knight, who had been knocked back, crashed to the ground, and then was immediately surrounded by skeletons. Lin Moyu pointed at the support in the Dragonkind party and unleashed Soul Blaze. Lin Moyu actions were fluid, cutting off all their escape and counterattack possibilities. He had killed plenty of Dragonkind and had plenty of experience. The combination of Soul Blaze and the skeletons' attacks were too overwhelming. The Dragonkin support couldn't even cast healing skills. The Dragonkin Knight, flung far away, couldn't provide any assistance. The Dragonkin support lasted only 2 seconds. At the moment of his death, the slow curse was replaced with the damage curse. Boom! Amid the loud explosion, all but the Dragonkin Knight were blown to pieces. Without any healing support, the Dragonkin Knight lasted only 30 seconds. Once extreme defense was over, his life also reached its end. The Dragonkin party was wiped out in just a minute. The skeletons dragged their corpses back and placed them behind the dungeon. Lin Moyu considered for a moment and dismissed the undead legions, leaving only 2 skeletons as he continued to guard the dungeon entrance. Only 2 minutes later, another Dragonkin party arrived. This time things were much simpler. A skeleton threw the body of the Dragonkin Knight high into the air, followed by damage curse and corpse explosion. The Dragonkin party was annihilated before they could react. Dragonkin corpses fell from the sky like raindrops. The skeletons dragged them back and hid them behind the dungeon. Lin Moyu said indifferently, "You should fly higher. If you fly this low, I can still blow you up." The level 4 corpse explosion had a blast radius of 160 meters and a detonation range of 400 meters. To avoid being blown up, one had to keep a distance of at least 500 meters. Generally, neither Dragonkin nor abyssal demons flew that high. After all, flying too high made it difficult to locate targets on the ground. But when facing Lin Moyu, not flying high enough was a death sentence. Chapter 257, he even gave away a primordial rune. Brilliant bands of light descended from the sky, plunging into the dungeon below, signaling to nearby creatures that a treasure had appeared. Dragonkin and abyssal demons, like wild dogs catching the scent of prey, swarmed in from all directions. Upon seeing Lin Moyu, a mere level 31 human, they charged at him with vicious grins. The outcome was predictable. Behind the dungeon vortex, a mountain of corpses had piled up, nearly impossible to conceal. In just half an hour, Lin Moyu had amassed a significant amount of express and military merit. Each level 60 plus abyssal demon and Dragonkin provided 3,000 military merit, pushing his total to over 600,000. At this rate, Lin Moyu might soon become a 1-star colonel, an unbelievable feat for someone at level 31. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps approached, and a human party of 6, all above level 50 arrived. "Stop!" Lin Moyu barked sternly, "the dungeon is temporarily off limits." The leading knight creased his eyebrows, displeasure evident in his eyes. "Blocking the dungeon entrance isn't right, young brother." His teammates also wore expressions of dissatisfaction. But since they were fellow humans, the knight chose to exercise restraint. Lin Moyu shook his head, "It isn't right, but it can't be helped right now." The knight's face darkened, but before he could respond, his teammate nudged him, whispering, "Look over there, behind the dungeon." The knight's expression changed drastically when he noticed the massive pile of abyssal demon and Dragonkin corpses. At that moment, several abyssal demons approached rapidly. A skeleton beside Lin Moyu darted out, grabbed a corpse, and hurled it into the air. It soared 100 meters before detonating in a loud explosion, instantly killing the demons. The skeletons then calmly dragged the bodies back to the growing pile behind the dungeon. The whole process was unnervingly smooth and efficient. Lin Moyu looked over and remarked, "You really can't go in now." The knight shuddered. "Understood, boss." The effortless way the level 60+ demons were dispatched was chilling. If they were struck by that skill, the outcome would undoubtedly be the same. They no longer believed Lin Moyu was merely level 31, suspecting instead that he was a big shit, likely closer to level 70, hiding his true level with some special method. "Boss, we'll wait aside. Let us know when we can go in," the knight said and led his party away. Over the next half hour, they witnessed what it meant to guard a dungeon. Abyssal demons and Dragonkin who approached met their end, with only a few who were quick to run managing to escape. The mountain of corpses behind the dungeon grew too large to hide, but Lin Moyu didn't bother with it, he simply kept adding to it. Several more human parties arrived, but they all heeded Lin Moyu's warning after seeing the mountain of corpses. They gathered together, discussing the situation, but kept much of their attention on Lin Moyu, who radiated terrifying murderous intent. An hour later, a scarlet light shot out from the dungeon and into the sky, and the bands of light flowing into the dungeon vanished. A look of elation spread across Lin Moyu's face. "It's a success." "Primordial rune," someone exclaimed. The human class users finally realized why Lin Moyu had been guarding the entrance. There was a primordial rune inside the dungeon. A few minutes later, a party appeared at the dungeon entrance. Ji Yu Changfeng, scanning the area vigilantly, breathed a sigh of relief when he saw no abyssal demons or dragonkin nearby. Lin Mohan also breathed a sigh of relief. They were grateful to avoid a fierce battle. "Congratulations, sister," a voice suddenly called out from behind, startling Ji Yu Changfeng. He turned and saw Lin Moyu. "Moyu, why didn't you leave?" Lin Mohan asked, surprised. "I stayed to guard the entrance so no one would disturb you." Lin Moyu replied with a smile. Lin Mohan felt a warmth in her heart, understanding the deeper meaning behind these words. After all, she couldn't guarantee a 100% chance of obtaining the primordial rune, even though her party had entered the dungeon first and the odds were in her favor. Lin Moyu had stood guard to ensure no one else could snatch it away. "Moyu, did no abyssal demons or dragonkin come over?" Lin Mohan suddenly thought of something and asked. "A few came, but they were dealt with." Lin Moyu began, but before he could finish, Ji Yu Changfeng let out a gasp. He had noticed the mountain of corpses piled up behind the dungeon. This was what Lin Moyu meant by, "A few came, but they were dealt with." Ignoring Ji Yu Changfeng's shock, Lin Moyu spoke with a hint of concern. "Sister, you need to be careful during the 10-day fusion period." Lin Mohan, in a good mood, giggled, "Don't worry. Teacher has made extensive arrangements. We'll be heading to the outskirts, where there will be no danger." Lin Moyu wanted Lin Mohan to stay with him for protection, but knowing her strong-willed nature, he didn't insist. He said softly, "All right then." After exchanging a few more words, Lin Mohan bid Lin Moyu farewell and activated the teleportation stone. She and her party left for their designated location. Just then, the dungeon changed again. Bloody Source. Dungeon level 55. The dungeon now offered both ordinary and nightmare rank difficulties, with no entry restrictions. Lin Moyu could enter if he wanted, but he had no interest in a dungeon with only nightmare rank difficulty. Turning to the nearby human class users, Lin Moyu said, "You can go in now." With that, he left, quickly disappearing from sight. A big shot is a big shot. He even gave away a primordial rune. They know each other. He was specifically here to guard the entrance. Are they a couple? Unlikely. They look very similar. They must be siblings. Either way, this big shot is amazing, slaughtering demons and dragonkin like they were nothing. Did you see? His skeletons were stripping the dragonkin of their gear. He's done this before. ... As discussions continued, batches of class users began entering the dungeon. With the bands of light gone, the dungeon seemed inconspicuous in the vast immemorial battlefield. Most of the demons and dragonkin within hundreds of kilometers had already been dealt with by Lin Moyu, making the area relatively safe. After an hour of guarding the dungeon entrance and killing waves of demons and dragonkin, Lin Moyu's military merit had risen to 77.43 million, an increase of more than 200,000. It was an effortless task, especially with enemies practically throwing themselves at his feet. Lin Moyu resumed his advance toward the core area, his undead legions forming a fan-shaped formation to pave the way. Along the way, whether it was monsters, demons, or dragonkin, all were eliminated. In the abyss, in a grand castle, the succubus queen sat on an exquisite throne. Alice, trembling with fear, prostrated herself before her. "Great Queen, I have failed. Please punish me," Alice begged, not daring to lift her head. The succubus queen rested her chin on one hand. "It's not your fault. Lin Moyu's strength exceeded our expectations. I was the one who failed." She paused, then asked, "Did you complete the task I gave you?" Alice promptly replied, "I did. I've left a mark on Lin Moyu." The succubus queen smiled, satisfied. "Good." Just then, a mass of abyssal fire appeared before the succubus queen, and a beautiful succubus emerged within the dark green flames. The succubus bowed respectfully. "Great Queen, what are your orders?" With a lazy tone, the succubus queen instructed, "Mina, go to the immemorial battlefield, find the spatial channel leading to the upper layer, follow the mark left by Alice, and bring Lin Moyu back to me." "As you command," Alice blurted out, shocked. "Great Queen, isn't sending Lady Mina to deal with Lin Moyu overkill?" The succubus queen's face twisted into a cold smile. "Are you questioning me?" Terrified, Alice banged her head on the ground, trembling uncontrollably. "No, I wouldn't dare. Remember, my decisions are not to be questioned. Now, you may leave." With a wave of her hand, the succubus queen sent Alice flying out with a gust of wind, and the castle fell silent once more. Chapter 258. The Core Area's Danger. The primordial space lay deep within the lower layer of the immemorial battlefield and so was inaccessible for now. Meanwhile, the divine selection secret realm had already been uprooted. Lin Moyu's journey to the immemorial battlefield had yielded valuable treasures: soul crystal, soul gem, poison gem, and fire gem. The only task remaining was to locate the elusive demonic dragon hall. It could appear anywhere in the upper layer, its location, level, and duration unpredictable. Lin Moyu recalled the Bagua compass that Lin Mohan had shown him. If it could pinpoint the location of the primordial rune, it might also locate the demonic dragon hall. Time to start the search, Lin Moyu muttered. As he advanced, he repeatedly cast Poison Star Ring, unwilling to stop honing his skills. The monsters he defeated along the way were subjected to corpse explosion, the resulting thunderous blasts drawing closer to the core area. Yet, he remained cautious, always keeping at least half of his spirit force in reserve. After 15 days of travel, covering more than 10,000 kilometers, the landscape finally began to shift. From afar, the ground shimmered like a rough, unpolished mirror, reflecting a hazy glow. Upon entering the core area, Lin Moyu discovered that not only the monsters had higher levels, but the scenery was also different. The light from the sky seemed closer, with shooting stars frequently falling, sometimes reaching the ground and other times exploding in the air like stunning fireworks. The core area was a realm of astonishing danger. The monsters were not only more numerous but also far more formidable. Those adventuring here had to be extremely careful. One misstep could lead to total annihilation. Just 30 seconds after stepping into the core area, a sharp cry pierced the sky. A massive eagle-like monster hurtled toward Lin Moyu at lightning speed, its enormous beak colliding with his bone armor. The impact was immense, nearly as powerful as attacks from the Crimson Moon Demon. The giant eagle, its attack thwarted, soared back into the sky. This monster was at least 7 meters long, with a wingspan of over 20 meters, its size a rarity among ordinary monsters. Lin Moyu's detection spell, faster than the eagle, revealed its attributes. Battlefield Great Eagle, Level, 62, Strength, 80,000. Agility, 40,000. Spirit, 20,000. Physique, 60,000. Skills, Rapid Impact, Rend. Traits, 50% physical damage reduction, 50% elemental damage reduction, extreme speed, dive boost. This level 62 ordinary monster boasted attributes totaling 200,000, far exceeding those of Lin Moyu's skeletal warriors. Moreover, its dual immunity traits and ability to fly made it a formidable opponent. In a one-on-one fight, the skeletal warriors stood no chance. Lin Moyu was taken aback by the eagle's exaggerated attributes. But he wasn't relying on just one skeletal warrior, he had an entire army. The battlefield Great Eagle circled in the sky before diving again. This time, Lin Moyu was ready. When it was 300 meters away, he cast a curse. Skill, Slow Curse. The sudden loss of speed caused the eagle to lose balance, tumbling through the air. Lin Moyu raised his hand, and a flame flickered in his palm. The battlefield Great Eagle screeched, its efforts to stabilize itself in vain as it crashed to the ground, where the skeletal warriors were waiting. The curse was switched to the damage curse, and the skeletal warriors unleashed their skill, tearing into the eagle. Miserable screeches filled the air. The skeletal mages followed up with their attacks, bombarding the eagle. Even with its double immunity reducing damage by half, the onslaught left the eagle severely injured. It glowed and broke free from the skeletal warriors, soaring back into the sky. Skill, Rapid Impact. This skill was effective not only for attacking but also for fleeing. But Lin Moyu wasn't about to let it escape. He cast the slow curse again, slowing the eagle just as it tried to gain speed. Soul Blaze ignited once more, and the eagle lost balance, crashing to the ground a second time. This time, Lin Moyu gave it no chance to rise into the air again. Killed Level 62 Battlefield Great Eagle, EXP plus 1,860,000. Obtained Starlight Shard. Starlight Shard contains the power of immemorial starlight, can be used by alchemists and blacksmiths to enhance equipment properties. Lin Moyu examined the Starlight Shard, the first material he had obtained from a monster in the immemorial battlefield. It seemed that only level 60+ monsters in the core area dropped materials, and they were of high quality. However, his momentary joy quickly faded. The eagle's body dissolved into countless specks of starlight that flew into the sky and vanished. Without a corpse explosion was restricted, a crucial part of Lin Moyu's repertoire rendered useless. Is it just this monster, or do all core area monsters vanish like this? Lin Moyu wondered aloud. At this time, he started glowing, he had leveled up again. This was the second time in 15 days, rising from level 31 to 33. Although it wasn't as efficient as dungeon raids, but it was still acceptable progress. Lin Moyu's other skills, apart from Poison Star Ring, Corpse Explosion, and Enhanced Troops, had all reached level 33, including Divinity Force. Every time he leveled up, the Shunzhou Cauldron released just enough divinity energy to raise Divinity Force by 1 level. His undead legions had expanded to 13, each accommodating 330 skeletons, 200 skeletal warriors and 130 skeletal mages. Summoning all 13 legions at once would unleash a force capable of supporting a major conflict. Lin Moyu's spirit attribute had increased to 20,965, with equipment bonuses bringing it close to 24,000. His other attributes had reached 1,393. It seemed messy, but that was the nature of Divinity Force. As he leveled up, his attributes would continue to grow at an astonishing rate. The core area was vast, and Lin Moyu continued toward the light. After defeating several more monsters, he confirmed that all core area monsters dissolved into starlight upon death. He also encountered a level 61 abyssal demon, a long-range attacker capable of casting elemental spells. The battle was arduous, but Lin Moyu eventually triumphed, only for the demon's body to disintegrate it into starlight like the others. The core area was teeming with monsters, all in close proximity, exceptionally strong and aggressive. Like the battlefield Great Eagle, they often attacked before Lin Moyu even noticed them, frequently dragging nearby monsters into the fray. The core area was far more perilous than the central area, not unlike the Nightmare rank difficulty was far more dangerous than Hell rank difficulty. Each monster here was far stronger than Lin Moyu's skeletons, forcing him to rely on sheer numbers to win. The danger didn't end there. Occasionally, shooting stars would fall from the sky. Some exploded in the air, transforming into gigantic monsters that soared away with piercing cries, while others crashed into the ground, detonating on impact. Lin Moyu once witnessed a shooting star land just 100 meters away. It exploded, emitting a blinding light, and out of nowhere, a pack of wolves charged at him. The pack was led by a level 63 alpha wolf, its attributes totaling 220,000, comparable to some level 55 ordinary bosses. The other wolves were level 61, their attributes totaling 180,000. Under the alpha wolf's command, the pack's combat power was fearsome. For the first time, Lin Moyu's undead legions suffered losses against ordinary monsters. Although fewer than 10 skeletons perished, it was still a shocking reminder of the core area's dangers. Chapter 259, A Core Area Boss. Lin Moyu's pace slowed as he ventured deeper into the core area. The sheer number of monsters, combined with the constant threat of falling shooting stars and aerial attacks from flying monsters, forced him to remain vigilant. He once witnessed a formation of over 100 flying monsters, their imposing presence felt even from thousands of meters away. These creatures, at least level 64, could be defeated by his undead legions, but not without significant losses, potentially hundreds of skeletons. Initially, Lin Moyu intended to explore the core area and take a look at the supposedly undefeatable boss. However, after 5 days, he had barely covered 1,000 kilometers. The core area was vast, larger than the previous regions, and at his current pace, reaching its center could take over a month. During these 5 days, Lin Moyu encountered 2 groups of monsters. One was a pack of 3-meter-tall goat-like monsters, with hooves larger than a human head, aptly named as battlefield goats. They possessed a group attack skill. 10 battlefield goats unleashed their skill simultaneously, killing over 20 skeletal warriors in an instant. Although Lin Moyu emerged victorious, but he lost over 70 skeletons, which was a significant blow. Since then, he avoided provoking monster groups. However, the monsters in the core area grew more numerous as he advanced, slowing his progress. Despite his caution, battles were inevitable. A meteor exploded above, attracting a group of flying monsters. After a fierce fight, Lin Moyu lost over 80 skeletal warriors and 10 skeletal mages, nearly half of an undead legion. He had to stop and meditated to replenish his forces, frustrated by the slow progress. The monsters here are too numerous and powerful. Their skills, although lacking control effect, are devastating group attack skills. The skeletons aren't strong enough to withstand them. Lin Moyu mused, this approach isn't sustainable. With only 1,000 kilometers covered in 5 days, and just 200 kilometers in the last 2, Lin Moyu felt the pressure. Corpse explosion was unusable, making each battle time-consuming. Just as he finished replenishing his forces, the ground trembled. A group of monsters appeared, charging towards him. Shit, Lin Moyu couldn't help but curse. With no time to escape, he prepared for battle. Fortunately, there were only 10 monsters. Battlefield Ironclad Beast. Level 62. Strength 80,000. Agility 40,000. Spirit 20,000. Physique 60,000. Skill Smash. Traits 50% physical damage reduction, 50% elemental damage reduction. Seeing the information provided by the detection spell, Lin Moyu was relieved, at least they're not too strong. Things seemed manageable, but Lin Moyu didn't let his guard down. He knew that in the core areas, monsters above level 60 could be formidable, not just because of their strength but due to the skills they possessed. These skills were the real danger. The battlefield ironclad beasts resembled wolf dogs from his past life, but with armor-like skin and spikes, indicating strong defense. Their agility was ordinary, so Lin Moyu opted to use Damage Curse, hoping to end the battle quickly. The skeletal warriors formed a formation to meet them. When the two sides made contact, the battlefield ironclad beasts emitted dazzling light, knocking the skeletons in front of them away. The battlefield ironclad beast's skill, while not greatly powerful, had a knockback effect that kept the skeletons at bay. However, instead of engaging the skeletons, they pushed through and fled into the distance. Lin Moyu was stunned. What was going on? The monsters he had encountered thus far fought fiercely and only retreated when near death. Yet these beasts ran away right off the bat. Something's not right. They look like they're fleeing for their lives. Lin Moyu realized. But from what? The ground shook more violently, and Lin Moyu's heart sank. A massive creature appeared, serpent head and tail, turtle body, and tiger claws, over 20 meters long and 5 meters tall. Despite its size, it moved swiftly, without the typical clumsiness of turtle-type monsters. It was a boss. Lin Moyu's nerves stretched taut. The creature noticed Lin Moyu, its eyes flashing with murderous intent. Abandoning its pursuit of the battlefield ironclad beasts, it charged towards him. He promptly used the detection spell. Battlefield Serpent Turtle, Boss Rank Monster. Level 64. Strength 180,000. Agility 80,000. Spirit 40,000. Physique 200,000. Skills Trembling Earth, Whiplash, Shell Block. Traits 60% elemental damage reduction, 70% physical damage reduction. Lin Moyu felt a headache coming on. The boss's attributes were staggering, 500,000 in total, with strength and physique reaching 180,000 and 200,000, respectively. Its offense and defense were extraordinary, compounded by the immense health characteristic of a boss monster, and its skills posed a significant threat. This time the losses will be great, Lin Moyu thought, realizing that the battle would be grueling. With no choice but to fight, Lin Moyu summoned 11 undead legions. The Lich Generals cast status buffs. 1,690 skeletal mages quickly spread out and formed a large arc-shaped encirclement. The battlefield Serpent Turtle charged, sending hundreds of skeletal warriors flying with sheer strength. With the status buffs, the skeletal warriors' strength attribute was less than 60,000, clearly no match for the boss's overwhelming power. Lin Moyu watched grimly. Even against the Earth Evil Centipede, the disparity hadn't been this vast. After running for a short distance, the battlefield Serpent Turtle was finally stopped by the skeletal warriors. 2,600 skeletal warriors swarmed it and hacked away with their blades, many jumped onto its back. However, the battlefield Serpent Turtle's defense was nearly impregnable. Not only was its defense extraordinarily high, but it also possessed immunity to both physical and elemental attacks. Lin Moyu knew that conventional methods would not work against such a powerful opponent. Lin Moyu cast Damage Curse, aware it was the only way for the skeletons to harm the heavily fortified boss. The battlefield Serpent Turtle roared, radiating light, and leapt into the air before crashing down with tremendous force. Skill Trembling Earth. The ground shook violently and fractured, and huge fissures spread out like a spiderweb, releasing a surge of energy that flung the skeletal warriors away, severely injuring them. The Lich Generals began the healing, with white light flashing and pulsating. Lin Moyu's eyes narrowed. What a powerful skill. The battlefield serpent turtle's attack had not only knocked away the surrounding skeletal warriors but seriously injured them, and even with the Lich General's healing skill, it would take multiple casts to fully recover. Fortunately, the skeletal warriors on its back were unaffected. The skeletal warriors that weren't knocked away quickly rushed forward to fill the gaps, while the skeletal mages proceeded to bombard the battlefield serpent turtle with magic spells. Lin Moyu summoned fierce flames in his hand. At the same time, a green star ring formed around the battlefield serpent turtle. Poison Star Ring Level 10 creates a 10-meter radius area that deals 100 poison damage per second for 10 seconds. Chapter 260. Overwhelming Attack, Annoying Skill. Lin Moyu had been relentlessly grinding the Poison Star Ring the past few days, finally leveling it up to level 10. Amplified by his talent, the level 10 Poison Star Ring could now inflict 4,000 points of elemental damage per second on the battlefield serpent turtle for 400 seconds. After accounting for the battlefield serpent turtle's elemental immunity, the damage was reduced to 40%. While this might seem minor, Lin Moyu had discovered another use for it. When struck by a poison elemental attack, the target entered a poisoned state, which drastically reduced its natural regeneration. Many high-health monsters constantly recovered health every second, and if the damage output was insufficient, it might not even outpace their natural regeneration. However, once poisoned, their natural regeneration was suppressed. With a duration of 400 seconds, this skill was more than enough to last an entire battle. Under the Poison Star Ring's effect, the battlefield serpent turtle was bathed in a green hue, especially around its head and tail. As soon as Soul Blaze struck, the battlefield serpent turtle groaned, its body trembling violently. Soul Blaze attacked the soul directly, bypassing physical, elemental defenses, and even the two immunities. Amplified by the damage curse, Soul Blaze's power was terrifying. The battlefield serpent turtle immediately shifted its focus to Lin Moyu, finding him far more irritating than the skeletons. The skeletons' attacks were mere pinpricks compared to the agonizing pain Lin Moyu inflicted. Ignoring them, it leapt into the air, bringing its massive claws down in a crushing blow. Skill, Trembling Earth. Lin Moyu's expression changed as he dodged at top speed. The claws nearly brushed him. Boom! The ground shook violently, and spiderweb-like cracks appeared on the mirror-like surface. Lin Moyu's bone armor shone brightly before shattering with a loud bang. The terrifying impact sent him flying. In midair, he quickly recast bone armor, his face pale with fear. Its power was terrifying, only the Fire Demon King's Death Ray had ever surpassed it. It was a miracle that the skeletal warriors were only severely injured rather than instantly obliterated. As soon as Lin Moyu landed, everything went dark, and a massive tail whipped toward him at blinding speed, leaving no time to dodge. Skill, Whiplash. The tail struck the bone armor with a resounding bang. The force of the blow sent the tail soaring, while the bone armor cracked and shattered like glass, destroyed in a single strike once more. Horrified, Lin Moyu quickly recast the armor. At the same time, he unleashed Soul Blaze again, causing the battlefield serpent turtle to roar in pain. The tail lashed out once more, shattering the bone armor again. The tail whipped faster and faster, becoming a blur. Focusing all his attention, Lin Moyu continuously replenished his bone armor and attacked with Soul Blaze. The battlefield serpent turtle roared in agony, its giant eyes fixed solely on Lin Moyu, consumed by hatred. It ignored the skeletal warriors and skeletal mages, solely wanting Lin Moyu dead. As the battlefield serpent turtle focused on Lin Moyu, the skeletal warriors encircled it once more, some climbing onto its back, launching frenzied attacks. Though each strike dealt minimal damage, the cumulative effect was significant. Meanwhile, 1,690 skeletal mages continued raining down magic spells from a distance. If this continued, the battlefield serpent turtle would inevitably be worn down. Lin Moyu used Soul Blaze to draw the battlefield serpent turtle's full attention, becoming a tank for the undead legions. If he could hold out, victory was only a matter of time. But this was no ordinary monster. The battlefield serpent turtle was a level 64 boss, far stronger than the level 58 Earth Evil Centipede. The difference between monsters above and below level 60 was immense. This made Lin Moyu wonder just how formidable the boss guarding the core area's center would be. For countless years, no one had ever defeated it, not for lack of trying, but because it was truly unbeatable. Reaching even the periphery of the core area was a feat beyond the grasp of ordinary parties. Only those at least level 60, with fully maxed gear and skills, could barely survive here. Even then, they had to be exceptionally cautious. Facing a monster group or a boss like the one before Lin Moyu could result in total annihilation. In the 5 days Lin Moyu had been here, he had encountered others only 3 times, once with an abyssal demon that took a long time to kill, a 12-person human party who were curious about him, and a 6-person Dragonkin party, 3 of whom he killed while the others fled. The battlefield serpent turtle leapt into the air again, crashed down, and activated the trembling earth skill, generating tremendous force that knocked Lin Moyu away. Although uninjured, he took a hard fall. It's incredibly strong, Lin Moyu thought, but his hands didn't stop, casting skill after skill. He tried using bone fangs, but it only made minor dents in the battlefield serpent turtle's defense, nowhere near as effective as Soul Blaze. Lin Moyu had to reapply bone armor nearly every second, rapidly depleting his spirit force. After only 5 minutes, he had used over half of his spirit. However, the battlefield serpent turtle had also sustained significant damage. Thanks to the tireless skeletal warriors, its shell had been breached, revealing bloody wounds. The battlefield serpent turtle roared in rage, sweeping its tail across its back, sending many skeletal warriors flying. But more immediately jumped onto its back. That should be enough, Lin Moyu thought as the back of his hand suddenly felt hot. The primordial runes enhanced troops skill activated. Instantly, the skeletal warriors hacked away with greater vigor. Their strength attribute surged from 52,000 to 166,000, and with the Lich General's status buff, it reached 200,000, surpassing the battlefield serpent turtle. Combined with the 500% additional damage, their attack power soared to terrifying levels. Skill: Berserk Strike. Lin Moyu willed the skeletal warriors to trigger their skill. Red light surged, and a penetrating din filled the air as the shell shattered extensively, blood splattering into the air and turning starlight before hitting the ground. Lin Moyu had timed the enhanced troops skill perfectly to finish off the battlefield serpent turtle and end the battle. He joined the fight, his spirit attribute now at 60,000, greatly enhancing Soul Blaze's power. Combined with enhanced troops' 500% additional damage, the battlefield serpent turtle emitted ear-splitting screams. It was now severely injured, near death. The immemorial rune's power shocked even Lin Moyu. "I've got this," he thought, elated. But suddenly, the battlefield serpent turtle retracted its head, tail, and limbs. Skill: Shell Block. The battlefield serpent turtle emitted a faint glow, forming a shield around itself. The skeletons on its back were thrown off. Its injuries began healing at a visible speed. Specks of starlight fell from the sky, landing on its body. Even with the enhanced troops boost, the skeletal warriors couldn't breach its shield. Due to the glow binding the serpent turtle to the world, Lin Moyu couldn't flip it over either. What an annoying skill. Lin Moyu could only smile bitterly. Who could have predicted this outcome? Hiding in its shell, it was more of a cheat than a knight's extreme defense. As its injuries healed, its aura grew stronger. Lin Moyu made a quick decision: retreat.